아, 또 스킬 피했고.
마무리 딜이
나오나요? 자, 체력 두 칸.
아, 잡았고.
자, 짓는
미니언이 너무 많았고 이걸 놓치자.
아직까지 양 선수들의 그 점화, 방어막을 남아있는 상태 속에서 첫 번째.
아, 참 비나갔어요. 이거 위험한데요?
한대진영. 아, 여기서 손치점이 나오는데.
이거 왜 끓는 비를 치는 거 막 찍은지 알 것 같아요.
잘 넣었는데, 자, 5레벨.
막 썼고, 눈덩이, 눈덩이.
와!
그대로. 6점에서 내렸습니다. 자, 아무튼 다시 한번 맞붙게 됐습니다. 자, 여기서. 자, 한번 내려찍으면서, 자, 반피까지.
그러면 또 반격.
이게 스킬을 두 방 날리고 뒤로 정을 하면은 엑스트로서 안 맞고 이렇게 때린다는 거거든요.
대신 공이 있어요.
네, 들어왔습니다. 자, 스턴 걸고요.
생물분의 방송 안 들어가.
아, 선취점 가져오는 투신.
이거 집에 가서 텔레포트 바로 쓰겠다는 건데
이거는 어쩔 수 없이 해야 됩니다.
알겠어요.
이것도
투신.
이것도 치명타예요.
마트라 투신.
방금 라인이 불리해지는 게 정글러 때문인데 이건 정글러.
정말 타이밍 좋았고요.
아, 전면에서 이거는 신발로 이 정도를 몰아붙이면 오히려 킬각이죠 이거.
네.
자, 각도가 나오나요? 투신 선수를 끝까지 추격하면서 자, 여기서 듀크 선수가 마무리 짓는데 성공합니다.
싸움 도락탈 시작했습니다.
오, 처음부터
그냥 맞아주는데요, 투신.
네.
이건 어차피 기한하면 되지 뭐 이런 생각이죠.
이거는 약간 이건 약간 위험하거든요.
네. 자, 이거 사실 한 발만 나가도 좀
그렇죠. 원점 때린 거 투신.
네.
큐 맞으면 바로 져요.
이게 1레벨 아까 그 미니언 나오기 전에 경기가 끝날 것 같다고 말씀을 드렸었는데
오, 이걸!
굉장히 빠르게
저쪽 건 안 맞으면은 어쨌든 이게
자,
거거든요.
1레벨
자연스럽게 본인 이기는 거 아무 안 해요.
오, 잠깐 맞붙는데요, 양선수.
오,
자,
피했어요.
스코어 좋습니다, 스코어 선수.
방금은 역병화살을 못.
6레벨 원투. 자, 양선수들. 자, 여기서.
아티라나요 설마?
자, 다시 한 번.
진짜 무기!
자, 체이서.
이거 서로 보호막.
자, 쫓아가고 있는데요, 스코어. 자, 여기서
킬!
선수점을
와.
만드는 스코어 선수.
맞임.
분명히 압박감을 같이
이러면
거리를 좀
저거?
늦었죠?
이거 1대1 일기토죠?
이거 뒤에서 스코어를.
글쎄요, 이게
자, 체이서.
이거 제이 선수 깊게 들어가서
자, 한번 노려보나.
이게
너무 깊었어.
방어력을 깠기 때문에
네.
와 신구 두 개.
자,
오 아파요. 집에 갔다 오면은 필승이거든요.
봤어요.
자, 제이 선수 이것을 막아내고. 네, 힘을.
손박. 야, 손박 판단 좋았어요.
자, 네. 어떻게
자,
가요?
이거
이거.
여기서
한번 제이가.
아, 체이가.
챔피언이죠. 여기 또 한번 앞으로. 맞췄어요.
네.
아,
까지.
잠깐만. 이거거든요.
자, 쭉 시작합니다. 자, 근데 샤이.
스킬샷. 왼바닥에 스킬 뿌리는 거랑 똑같은 거거든요.
어,
와, 이거는 영리했던 게 한순간
천천히 미는 게 어떻게 보면 K를 괴롭혀주는 카드가 될 수 있습니다. K는 라인을 밀 수밖에 없는 거고.
자, 여기서 대교환 들어가는데요. 자, 샤이 선수 체력을 얼마 남기지.
그렇죠. 그러니까 그 차를 계속 주기보다는 그냥 이렇게 과감하게 한번 중재 성공됐어요.
스포 끝내겠다는 거거든요.
보호막 타이밍이
이거 판례를 찍었고요. 스포 선수.
갑니다. 평타한테
중재.
맞았어.
화살 막았어요.
여기서 샤이 선수가 먼저 잡아내는데 성공합니다.
진짜 아니면 샤이 선수가 오히려 역으로 포킹할 수 있죠. 거의 무시.
곧바로 그냥 스킬 하려는 거.
근데 미니언 높이거든요. 스코어 무리예요.
미니언
높이에요.
잡아보고 미니언이 지금
미니언 높이 스코어 실수예요.
스포 선수.
이거는 정말 치명.
상태로 지었습니다.
공격적이에요. 굉장히
아.
좋지만 괜찮거든요.
자, 그럼 뒤쪽으로 빠질 수밖에 없죠.
오늘
싸움
오대시니까.
요구할 것 같은데.
여기서 보호막 쓰고 마지막에 참.
이거
아.
뱀 선수가 조금의 실수가 있었던 부분이 거리를 내준 것도 있었는데.
네, 찍은 상황이고, 이거
이런.
네.
네, 좋죠. 일단은
돌아간검이 한 개인 거와 두 개인 거의 차이는 확실히 있으니까요.
맞습니다. 네, 지금 뭐 일단
이 타이밍이야. 또 당해졌죠.
네.
어차피
붙어요.
이거 계속 해야 돼요.
승부 수나요 설마?
자, 일단 초반.
백만 선수
이거
싸우는
뭐-
거 필요 없어요.
이거.
자, 눈치를 보고 들어올 수밖에 없는 상황이거든요.
이거는
이거 위험한데요.
추격전 들어가야죠.
이거
백 선수 이거 벽 넘을 수 있나요?
이거
벽을 타임때 딜 안 넣죠?
자, 이거 쫓아갑니다. 파티원 쫓아갑니다. 자,
뽑아찍기.
야, 너무.
근데 이게 원딜과 근딜의 차이가
지금 약간 실수한 것
약간-
같은데요.
네.
근데
이럴 수가. 그게 중요하단 말이에요. 이게 집에 가야.
지금
이거.
타워의 실수
아,
많이 했는데
이거
이거는 진짜 이부 선수 센스가.
야, 나 이거.
이거 뒤돌면
주나.
설마 타워!
킬파.
와! 아니 이게 오 1년 때 2등을
자,
크게 보려는
뒤잡습니다.
탈진.
자, 뒤잡습니다. 다시
탈진.
걸고.
한 대,
자, 뒤에서. 자,
세
위로
대,
가나?
네 대.
아.
이게 쉽지는 않긴 하죠.
아이고, 네, 조심해야죠.
아,
지금 집 갔는데 말려 막 이러고 있죠.
보호막이
누가 잘했죠 누가?
이거.
네.
이거죠. 들어왔다가 밀어내겠죠.
자, 나오나요, 한타?
보막 다시 보막 있는데 미니언 쪽으로 밀고
미니언이. 역시.
그렇습니다.
이거 깨질 수도 있다고 보이는데요.
자, CS 챙기고.
네, 이게 벽이 아니죠. 네. 포탑에다가 지금 내 병사 스킬 쓰면은
네.
터져요.
이거는
이거 빨리
이게
와야
아찔이거든요.
되는데. 자, 경기 끝날 수도 있겠는데요, 백만
그쵸.
선수.
이게 진짜 무서운 건데.
둘, 셋! 네, 경기가 이렇게 끝이 나게 되겠습니다.
근데 지금까지는 잘해주고 있어요.
네. 이거.
이거 약간 예측을 한 건데 너무 멀리 봤죠?
네.
점화 걸고요. 얼음밟기를 썼고
이거.
점을 썼는데 페이커 선수 한번 잘 채웠죠?
자, 그러면서
얼음
잡고.
파편! 병타로.
선취점.
유축이 앞으로만 뛰죠.
그렇습니다. 그러면서 지금 승부.
이거 3대1 이름이거든요. 이거는
아이고,
의외로
싸워요.
페이커가 위험할 것 같은데요?
이거 전면.
야,
뒤쪽으로
지금
빠집니다.
템포!
이거 미니언.
템포가
야.
좋았어요.
이때요.
자, 이거 좋아요.
뭐야?
야,
이거 근데 어그로가 저쪽으로 안 넘어가는 구도였죠?
네.
이거는
이거.
한번 볼 수도 있어요.
그렇습니다. 다시 한번
이거
들어보죠.
나오죠? 일식 터지죠?
이거.
카인!
자,
이겼어요!
자, 윙크 선수 갑자기 머리가 굉장히 복잡해졌습니다.
이거 영혼의 불꽃이 없는 타입인데 그렇죠 이렇게
이렇게. 자, 이러면 데미지.
방금 기창이
잘 버티나요?
창이 지나갔는데요 방금
이거 카인.
이거는 실수가 너무. 어려워요.
자, 그러면서 자,
그러면 지금 가야죠
맞았을 때 가긴 해야 되거든요.
네.
칼을 뽑아야죠 그리고 점화! 킬! 그 마지막 아직 한 발!
한 발.
피했습니다. 자, 그러면서 오히려 자, 공격을 해보는데 뒤쪽으로 살짝 뺐어요.
오, 이거는 모르겠는데요. 자, 끝나요.
포탑.
이게 아직은 포탑 미는데 좋아서.
네.
가는 것 같은데
그렇습니다. 자, 6렙. 자, 페이커 6렙 기다리고
지금
있어요. 자,
좋아.
됐고. 자, 일단.
스킬이 약간 미스 난것 같죠 방금?
티버 아파요.
티버 펀치!
쫓아가요.
티버!
티버. 자, 허리도 근육이 있는 상태거든요.
일단은 한번 주풀자를 까는데 생각을 해야
오
되거든요.
정말 그냥
자, 보고.
중국자고 뭐고 그냥
자,
끝장을 내겠다
여기서.
주풀자는 있는데.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the finals of the Solo King, a Korean 1v1 tournament brought to you here on Azubu TV. My name is Reed Rapid Melton. Joining me is Barreto Raz Mohammed, and welcome to the Solo King, Raz.
Hey, how's it going? It's nice to be on the cast.
It is, and it's going to be even better to see the final culmination of what has represented almost months of 1v1 competition. We've seen every single player in the LCK this season, as well as a few who weren't. Had Incredible Miracles female roster, I Am Athena, play here as well for actually some pretty good games. And we have seen it all this season. We've seen full tank Sion, we've seen AP Nasus, we've seen a dodgeball match between idolless Dr. Mundos, between Mad Life and Space. It's been an incredible tournament. And it all comes down to this. And so tonight, we'll have our two final semifinal matches, which sounds kind of odd to say. So we'll have two semifinal matches, and you see the schedule right here on your screen. And the winner of each one of those semifinal matches will drop down into the next bracket. And after that, it'll be the third and fourth place match, as well as, of course, the grand finals immediately thereafter. So it's going to be awesome to watch the final 4 players compete here up until the grand finals. Now, let's talk about the 4 players who will be competing tonight. It's going to start out with ssumday versus Ganked by Mom and Ambition versus OQ.
I think the funniest thing about all of this is if you take a look at the stats on these 1v1s, like Ganked by Mom, the mid laner for generic Green Wings has the longest games, the longest average games, which is hilarious, obviously, because generic Green Wings have that like super late game identity now. So I feel like he's just bringing that onto the solo fight. So that's an interesting thing to take away from it.
And the other thing that's interesting about at least the players represented is that we have one player from every single one of the different roles. We've got Ambition in the jungle, OQ for AD carry, ssumday for top, and of course we have, rounding that out, Ganked by Mom in the mid lane. So the only role that we don't have represented is, of course, the support role. And while we've actually seen several supports play in the tournament, most of them actually stick to playing support champions, which it turns out aren't super great at 1v1s, unfortunately. Although we have seen a couple of really cool, like, Leona games.
Yeah. You were taking a look at that highlights there. I saw the Leona versus what was it? And it just destroyed her, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, I saw a couple of Leona games. I think the biggest one for me, was Kane, who played versus a Malzahar. So that was a little bit odd, but let's go ahead and get into our first game. It's going to be a best of 3 series between Ganked by Mom and ssumday. So mid versus top lane, and of course you can see the bans right there on your screen already. GBM, no Lucian ban here, which is what he's also, intended to go towards. And honestly, or there is a Lucian ban. Okay, so
I guess he was just saving it for his last ban because ssumday just pretty much took it in the second rotation, so that works out. He does get the Graves though.
Yeah, and as we've seen throughout the entire tournament, it's been primarily AD carries that have been picked, and while neither one of these players are, naturally AD carry players, there's been a lot of that, and of course also over the course of the tournament, because it has been a little bit longer, we've seen several champions kind of come and go as nerfs have hit them. Biggest one being Azir. It was kind of GBM's go-to champion for a while, and then the range nerfs on the Sand Soldiers hit, and yeah, you don't see too many Azirs there anymore.
Yeah, I wondered, actually, is he able to see Ganked by Mom's pick here? Is he able to counter it out?
No, this is actually blind pick. Or no, it's not blind pick. It's, yeah, okay, so ssumday can see GBM's pick, but,
I guess since it's a best of 3, they'll rotate, right?
That's right. So they'll swap sides in game number 2, and then game 3, if it gets there, will be blind pick. So GBM locking in the Graves. Now it's up to ssumday. See what he goes for.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
All right,
like
so Sivir allows you to play for a lot of different objectives. Maybe not necessarily as strong in the 1v1, unless you land some crazy boomerang blades, but it does allow you to just shove the wave in incredibly quickly. Might be a little bit rough for GBM to handle.
I think the 1v1's fine. It's actually one of those, bot lane matchups that people love going to, because you see it a lot nowadays in this meta. You see the Graves, you see the Sivir, and the Sivir's pretty good against Graves simply because you can actually spell shield the buckshot, and that's the brunt of his damage. Other than that, he'll just get pushed in. So I think this is a pretty decent matchup for Someday if he knows how to play it. He is a top laner, so I don't know how proficient he is on the Sivir, but I guess we're gonna find out on that one.
That's right, and there have been a couple of big picks that we should be watching out for. The biggest one is, of course, Caitlyn for everyone. You'll probably see that champion permabanned. Some players have kind of given a little bit of disrespect for their opponents and either just banned out random champions a la Faker's style or left Caitlyn up. It's almost always picked, has an incredibly high win ratio, so definitely don't want to let that one through. So the other big picks, of course, will be Azir that may not be it anymore just because it has been nerfed, but specifically for our second best of three, watching out for OQ's Misfortune too. But let's go ahead and get into our first game of the night. It's going to be Ssumday versus Ganked by Mom. We'll have that coming your way here in just a second.
자, 너무 과감하게. 이거 너무 정면. 여기서.
근데 맞아도 죽을 체력 아니야.
이거 반대라자. 킬각 나와. 막타. 썸데이 선수가 A 경기를 가져가게 되네요.
또 여기서도 퓨어 선수가 본인이 스턴을 장전이 안 된 상태에서 무리하다가 여기 뒤늦게 한번 공을 써봤는데 스턴이 없었죠.
그렇습니다. 확실히 또 굉장히 잘해주고 있고요.
네.
자, 2레벨
이레벨 먼저.
적극적으로.
그렇죠. 이 정도
그리고 막 퓨어 선수가 때리면은 연구 중. 연구 끝. 그렇죠. 자, 여기서
만화 없어요.
썸데이 선수.
만화 없고 체력도
이거
평타,
킬각인데요?
킬각까지는 안 나오는데 확실히 CS도 조금 더 먹고 조금 더 높게 리콜.
그 사이에 어쨌든
나가고 있어요. 자, 여기서 킬각 노려야 되는데 자, 썸데이 선수
일단 넣고 스킬 아껴야죠.
돼.
스킬 잘 아껴.
이거 역킬각
이거
딱 큐. 스킬이 이 모습 그대로 여기서 킬각을 노려야 되는데 오히려 역으로. 네.
이게 어쩔 수 없어요. 계속 들이대면서
그렇죠.
그린라이트 뜨나한테 한번 봐야 됩니다.
네.
그러니까 답이 없어요 지금은.
그렇죠. 이게 견제를 계속하다 보면 썸데이 선수도 분명히 놓치는 CS가 발생하거든요. 여기서 자, 이거 전면 없어요. 퓨어 선수 여기서
이거는
솔로킬 각이죠.
네. 지금 보려고 했으나 전멸이 빠지면서 이게 쉽지가 않게 되었습니다.
그렇죠. 여기서 이제 늘 보이면은 어차피 지금
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Solo King 1v1 tournament here on Azubu TV. My name is Rapid, with me is Raz, and we're getting into our first game. Our first semifinal best of 3 of the night. The Ganked by Mom faces off against Ssumday on Summoner's Rift. So, Sivir versus Graves coming out, both AD carries, and you can see the votes there on your screen taken from Inven. 30% for GBM and a whopping 70 for Ssumday. I don't recall seeing a vote against Gank by Mom yet this. Okay, so they were actually opposite. They were showing us the wrong stats.
Oh my god, why would they do that to
They
us?
trolled us.
Why would
Literally flips it on its head. I was going to say, it's hard to imagine Gank by Mom being behind in a 1v1 tournament as far as the votes are concerned. Oh, and Sumday's going to go
Oh, expert strategy here.
the last
love
couple of HP. I think at level 1, most champions deal like 8 to 10 damage versus turrets by themselves. But that could be the damage that decides the game.
It could very well be. That's 22 damage, I think. No, actually, I can't say that, man, for certain without seeing it. But I do know that he started his W, which is great for pushing the wave. And also, I think he got an extra auto attack just because of that. He could have got another auto, but he didn't know where Graves was. Gank by Mom's just, like, sitting in base. I wonder who wins out in the skin war, though. I feel like it's definitely going to be Ssumday, but I do love the swag of that Gangster Graves.
Yeah, I believe that is Pack Sivir versus Mafia Graves as far as skins are concerned. And, you know, definitely something to keep an eye on. Ssumday is coming back for round 2. Probably not going to go for the turret, but we'll get an extra little bit of damage started out there on the minion wave. So I believe, judging by GBM coming out of base, he's going to start with a flask, if I'm not mistaken, because usually when you see AD carries, yeah, in base, they wait for the 4th potion off of getting about 10 more gold. So that will mean that he is at a very strong disadvantage versus Ssumday as far as overall early game combat stats.
I don't know why he would do that. I feel like, no, like, the Crystalline Flask is great in the sense that you get the...
Whoa, Ssumday just took a turret shot.
Just kidding. Why would he take that tower shot? Like, Ssumday had the wave push advantage, and he should have just been able to keep it. Now, Gank by Mom will have the freedom to basically put pressure on the lane.
And Ssumday does get a nice spell shield of the buckshot off there, but at the same time, the sustain is by far in favor of Gank by Mom. And Ssumday, with that turret shot being tanked, he's out of his health potion and will just be able to get that health back from auto attacks, I guess.
Yeah, Ssumday is pretty much done here. He cannot take any sustained harass. He has to back at this point, and Gank by Mom knows it, so Ssumday's just gonna have to back. He does have TP though, so he can just come right back into the lane.
Unfortunately, he only has 8 CS, which means
Oh
GBM
my god.
try to stop his back and does get a dispel shield there, but that means he's gonna miss a little bit of the CS at turret, maybe. But also, he doesn't have enough gold to actually buy items yet, so he's just gonna come back with consumables.
Yep, sad day for him. A tower shot means a lot, apparently. He can turn it around. I mean, it is Sivir versus Graves, so hopefully once he gets the levels, he should just take over, maybe? Possibly?
Possibly. Interesting to note that over the course of the group stages, Ssumday actually played had one of the most unique champion rosters. Played 5 different champions over the course of his 5 group stage games. Sivir was one of them, so kind of going back to maybe a little bit of a comfort pick as far as AD carries are concerned, since it is the AD carry that he goes back to. Unfortunately, the base that he's just came back from going to is going to be, I feel like one decides this more, because when GBM goes back, he's going to get at least 1 Doran's Blade and have the sustained advantage with the flask.
Yeah, it's just gonna be painful at this point. I don't see, unless of course if Gank by Mom decides to take a tower shot as well. That's the only way I see him coming back from this one.
It's been kind of interesting. He's been shoved to his turret almost this entire lane phase, but he's actually ahead on gold, so... Or even on CS is what I meant to say, because unfortunately Ssumday was forced to go back to base, and I think GBM's only going to miss like 2 CS from backing there, and he might even be able to stop the recall. Does. That's going to give him a very nice timing.
Oh, he doesn't get the cannon though, but... Yeah, the fact that the turret decided to focus down that cannon gave him the... Like, he could just, like, stop Ssumday from backing. And now that trade, I don't think this trade favors Ssumday.
Yeah, Ssumday might... He's not going to die here, but he is going to take a lot of damage. Whoa! There's the flash out from Ssumday. That buckshot damage. Ignite sticking down, but...
No, it's not.
Health potions are pretty cool items.
I love it, you know, 10 out of 10 would drink another health potion again. It's basically Coca-Cola. Everybody loves it. I mean, except for people who love Pepsi, but you know, that's just,
You know,
yeah, personal
somebody made
preference.
the comparison between Coke and Pepsi, but then I said, you know, the drinks themselves are actually both almost exactly the same color. So it's actually more like I don't know, like Mountain Dew Code Red, because that stuff is actually red. Which
Yeah, that is I have no idea how, I guess it's just food coloring.
I
Hopefully.
would hope so.
Hopefully. I was like, I had to like double take on that one. I was like, ah.
To say, having drunk much Mountain Dew Code Red in my day, I certainly hope it is, you know, water soluble, completely non-toxic.
You know, the last time I drank, I actually can't remember the last time I drank Mountain Dew. I think it was around the last time I drank Sunny D. Jesus,
Oh my gosh.
I love it. I love both of them, but I don't know, something
You know,
stopped.
in a distant future, Riot will have contracts with all major drink sponsors, so you can get Pepsi skins for your health potions. that comes right after the Coca-Cola Volibear skin.
See, that's where I kind of see this game going. After a while, in which it's just, I feel like they just can't make skins for champions anymore. It's like, hey, let's make skins for items.
Can you imagine how incredibly popular, you know, like new movie release and you get like a skin of the hero in your game?
Oh, like we saw that from Singed, where it basically looked like that Batman Bane. There we go.
Oh yeah, I forget what it's actually called, but yeah, the Bane skin,
The Bane
which is
skin.
pretty
I
much
hope
what it is.
we'll get to see more of that. Something
Okay.
really solid off of his spell shielding. It's really nice.
Yeah, and he comes back with a Vampiric Scepter. You know, stat for stat, that seems actually terrible compared to Doran's Blades, because you don't get the AD or the HP from that 400 gold you spend for lifesteal. The sustain advantage might actually be significant. Although, whoa, gonna pop his ultimate. Was that a spell
Oh.
shield on collateral damage?
Ah, that was really well played on that part. I don't know about him being like going so greedy as to go for the tower when there were only 2 minions, so Gank by Mom could really trade that out. But that was still like solid spell shield. I feel like he can just decide to be a KT Rolster AD carry and it'd be fine.
I mean, maybe if KT Rolster become like KT Winter Fox, that would definitely be a possibility. But at least for the time being, yeah, that spell shield timing was pretty sick. And the big difference between Sivir and Graves is that when they hit level 6, Sivir moves really quickly, and that doesn't actually help her, you know, do the burst damage that Graves can dish out there. But countering it with a spell shield, very, very good way to even the tides. And I mean, we just see the creep score difference not all that different at all here around the 8-minute mark. And even if you do get to 100 CS, you have to have a 10 CS advantage over your opponent to be able to claim that victory. So it's a really big deal when it comes to that post 100 CS game.
See, the reason why I like the lifesteal off of ssumday here is, though Gank by Mom is trying his hardest to deal with it, like she's just gonna be able to infinitely push in on him.
Whoa, there's the Ignite
Okay.
coming down there. One more auto. Okay, there you go.
Well, there you go.
Ignite Summoner spell. It's a little bit better than Flash. Of course, it has a shorter cooldown too. So we're gonna get a quick instant replay and see Gank by Mom just gonna go dash in. There gets 1, 2, all 3 of the buckshot particles onto ssumday with an Ignite and one last auto attack. It's Gank by Mom that'll take game number 1 versus ssumday.
Well, there you have it. Like I guess Ignite is the counter to the lifesteal. That one.
Yeah, it turns out you can't lifesteal quite as well when you are actually on fire. And speaking of being on fire, Gank by Mom comes out with a 1-game advantage, and you saw how crucial the summoner spell difference was there. You know, no damage on Gank by Mom's ultimate, no damage on his spell shield, no damage on his summoner spells, and Graves had damage on all 3 of those. So. Also, that gap closer from Quick Draw, really essential, getting in range for that buckshot.
Yeah, definitely. And it just came down to the itemizing. Maybe it was just awkward because once he had like 700 gold on Sivir, he's like, the only thing I can buy is Vamp Scepter, because he was just set back from that one tower shot, and that's how quickly these games can turn around. Like he gets a tower shot, he loses trades, he has to back early, he loses the TP like immediately. And so it's just, he's always on the back foot. He always needs to try and find a way to get back into the game. And that's just where it comes down to. Like,
Yeah, interestingly enough, throughout this entire tournament, we've actually seen Ganked by Mom pick up a Game 1 win in every single one of his series. So, consistently winning all the first games, but he's not unanimous on winning his second games. But from the guy that 2-0'd Faker out of this tournament, you kind of expect a little bit more, and GBM, of course, does not disappoint. So, be interesting to see what he picks up here in game number 2, although I can't expect that we're going to let quite that strong of a carry difference come through here. And if I'm reading things correctly, I believe we might actually. I was a little bit unsure about the exact format for this, and I'm getting reports that it might be somewhat different than I otherwise expected. So let me make sure that I have this correct, because I want to make sure that it's not just best of ones for the round of 4.
Okay, see, that would be weird if it was a best of 1. But if it was, it gives more weight to the games. I can understand that. I can respect that.
I can respect that. I respect all the players who got here. When I saw this tournament announced for the first time, I was like, okay, is this a tournament meant to give Faker more money? The answer, of course, is sadly no, because he was eventually eliminated. It is, in fact, as I've received, and as you can see on your screen, a best of 3 here, which does give us the possibility for a blind pick if we make it there to that 3rd game.
Oof, I'm ready for it. It looks like ssumday gets the blue-side advantage this time. I don't think he's gonna let Graves through though. Actually, he could. Let's see. We'll find out.
He does have first pick. The Caitlyn ban from GBM. You're probably also gonna see a Kale ban here from ssumday, given the fact that Ganked by Mom, or even just very popular champion overall in this tournament so far. GBM does have the opportunity to pick Lulu. It's been a champion he's kind of gone to several times. But at the same time, we do need to see... that Yasuo ban is actually pretty cool, too. I think GBM won his round of 12 games on that. If I'm not mistaken.
And then the cheesy Nunu. That's...
Ooh.
Oof, thank God. If I had to cast a Nunu game, I didn't know what I would do.
They're so exciting. You just watch him snowball and consume, and snowball and consume, and auto attack for free mana. Whoa, and there it is. The Kale pickup. First one right off the bat there.
He knew what he wanted. And let's see, I'm expecting possibly a Lulu pick. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's so hard.
Whoa, Jarvan could be the aggressive option. And several times GBM, in fact, he gave an interview for his round of 6 victory to qualify here for the finals. And he actually said that, I believe he played Yasuo in one of those games, which is very similar to Jarvan in the melee 1v1 AD carry. And he said that he actually likes playing more of like a passive farm style for 1v1s, which isn't very exciting, but one of his teammates, he didn't out the guy, but he said one of his teammates was like, dude, you should totally play Yasuo, so it's more exciting for all the viewers. And he picked Yasuo, and he won by like 1/2 of an auto attack. It was, it was incredibly close. We'll see what he goes for here. He's got 2 seconds left. Is it a Malzahar? Nope,
that would be solid.
It's Cassiopeia.
Oh. Okay, that works. The sustained damage versus kill is very crucial, so I can understand that. That actually works fairly well. He was hovering over quite a few. It was Malzahar. Malzahar was respectable. It just comes down to how do you get past Kale's like ulti. At all points in the game, you have to think about the fact that she can just pretty much be immune to all of your damage for like, how long was it? 6 seconds? I don't know if they nerfed it or not.
No, I believe it starts out at 2 and then, or at 2 and then scales up by 0.5 each level.
Okay, there we go.
So, or at least it has been changed, because I remember Kale, like back when she was very first released, let's just say you could stay invincible for a while.
God, and then she wasn't even like played as often, and then people.
No, she
just
wasn't.
realized.
Well, yeah, people realized she used to have this passive that gave her a like a 30 to 40% increase on her AD and AP.
Really?
So, yeah, if you bought, it gave you a percentage increase to AD depending on how much AP you bought, and it gave you a percentage increase to AP based on how much AD you bought. So you could get like an AD AP item hybrid and get both percentage advantages, and it was like coming with a free death cap based on how much AD you had. It was a little bit ridiculous.
I'm starting to remember this, but I never played Kill, so I never actually like understood the concept behind that idea. That's that's kind of dumb. It's actually no wonder it got taken away.
Alright, so
Alright.
here we're taking a look quickly at the runes and masteries, and you're starting to see players adapt and rune and mastery a little bit more correctly. So, three big masteries that we often see taken, or at least the biggest one is Dangerous Game. It's a little bit reflexive to take it, but it doesn't actually matter in a 1v1, because if you kill the guy, you've already won the game, so you don't need any extra HP back.
Yeah, that's a funny idea actually. That makes. We did see 3 points coming out of Gank by Mom in the utility set. I'm not sure what that was.
It was in mana regeneration.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit common since you don't get a lot out of percentage HP increase because you don't really have all that much HP to begin with. You can sacrifice a few of those points to get extra mana regen, which tends to be a pretty important stat in the lane phase. Anyway, which is kind of where we spend 90% of our time here. So. I say 90% because sometimes you'll see these like wacky out of lane chases around the map with one guy very low HP. Because you can leave the lane, you just can't kill any other minions outside the mid lane.
Okay, that's fair. I was like wondering because I saw some of a few highlights of them just like randomly leaving. I was like, isn't there a boundary? What happened? It's like, nope. So that's interesting. Get a few angles on people.
Yeah, we have a very advanced 1v1 rule set.
I think the best thing about this here Solo King is the fact that we have 3 gentlemen here, 3 Korean gentlemen, looking spiffy, and at the same time, looks like in a yellow, a green room. You can see the white outline there.
Yeah, it is. I've actually had the pleasure of seeing their studio before, and it's pretty sick. They put a lot of work into it. The other thing I was going to mention is that last week we actually had a guest casting appearance by Reapered, who came and was a guest analyst for the round of 6. So that was actually pretty cool to see some ex-pro analysis.
That is pretty cool. Does he speak English? I never knew actually.
Oh no, we didn't actually have him here. He was in the InVen studio.
Okay, that's fair. I was like so surprised for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
I invited him over to my house. He was like camping out with me. I was like, "What's up, Reaper?" And he's like, "Not much."
Took a few selfies. It was alright.
Waiting to post those to Twitter a little bit later on. I'm gonna Photoshop my picture next to Reaper.
I should do the same. Get a few followers. Be like, hey guys, a few followers, and I'll show you a few in detail pics of me and.
Yeah, candid Reaper pics.
Yep. One of them, maybe shirtless.
Oh man, yeah. We actually went out to the hot tub afterwards, swapped some stories. Same thing I do with all the other LCK pros I invite over to my house. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into game number 2.
All right, here we go. Oh god, the production quality.
There we go. Yeah, we will be loading in. Of course, this is being played on the Korean live servers, so that's why we do have to load into everything. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now joining us. This is game 2 of our first semifinal best of 3 here in the Solo King 1v1 tournament between ssumday and Ganked by Mom. Of course, representing KT Rolster and the Jin Air Green Wings, respectively. 2 teams that I expected to have somewhat of a very similar season, that are not quite having the same successes as each other, or at least as I expected.
And as you can see, Gank by Mom is not doing the same tactic. He's gonna right out the gate come into the mid lane. What route is he taking?
He's trying to get a flank on the mid lane so that if ssumday over positions in the lane, he can look to get some early either poison stacking off, or I mean, I can assume that Noxious Blast would be the only thing that he would start with anyway. So, yeah, and he has already skilled up that Noxious Blast. I think he's just waiting to see which side of the lane ssumday decides to go to. Because if the roles were reversed and ssumday had actually gone into the bush that GBM's in, that would be a little bit of an early advantage.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate. ssumday's actually is pretty smart. He's just gonna be sitting the opposite bush. So at some point they're gonna get out of there and do battle. Let's find out. Okay, Gank by Mom is actually just gonna go back and hopefully just get that potion.
All right, so over the course of the group stages, Sumday, like I said, played 5 different champions. He played Blitzcrank, Alistar, Lee Sin, Nunu, and Sivir. So it has yet to hit that Kale up, whereas, of course, on the other side, Gank by Mom played Azir. He played 2 games of Azir, and of course a Caitlyn and Lulu game there as well. So have yet to see either one of these players on the champions that they're playing, and so that's actually going to be really cool to see how they fare in here. Sumday getting off those rare melee range KO auto attacks, and GBM comes right into lane and immediately starts stacking up the poison.
There we go. Not a lot of damage the poison's doing early on. The brunt of Gank by Mom's damage will be off of the Poison Fangs, I think. Forgot what
Yeah,
it's called.
it's Twin Fangs, which
Twin
I
Fangs.
always
Ha!
get confused with Shyvana's Q, which is Twin Bite.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, I see how that can be a problem.
Yeah, it's a little rough every once in a while. So Sumday has chosen Kale. The way that Kale works is you just Righteous Fury the lane, shove it into turret over and over again. Kale, one of only 2 champions in League of Legends that has area of effect auto attacks. You know who the second one is?
God, I do not.
It's Jinx with her.
Oh,
rockets.
right. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, and no Tiamats do not count. That's an item that you have to buy on the champion, but get the idea. It's a great way to both damage your opposition and push out the lane. Some people actually argued with me and said that Yorick counted, but it's actually the ghouls that have those auto attacks too, and it's not quite area of effect either, so not quite. So Sumday, yeah, just gonna get a shove bonus in here. He's I think 1 to 2 CS up on GBM, but to GBM's credit, he's only lost like 2 to 3 CS here at turret.
Yeah, and he's doing phenomenally well. Actually, I'm really surprised Cassiopeia wasn't picked earlier, because I feel like this is where it thrives. Like, Cassiopeia will not lose mana. Like, sure, she's like harassing a lot, but she can just actually get the mana back from Twin Fanging, if I'm correctly.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Haha, not Twin Bite. If it's just Twin Fanning the minion wave. And
This is why we pay Raz the big caster bucks, because he can. He's a quick study on the Cassiopeia Qs. Well, that's a good point to make, because that means that you have pretty much infinite mana sustain as long as there are minions in lane. You also have incredible damage, specifically when you hit 6, and if you hit your ultimate at all, even if you just get the slow, you're almost guaranteed to land poison into Twin Fangs afterwards.
I think it's really funny, just like thinking about it now. It's pretty difficult being a caster in the sense that in a normal conversation, I would just say, well, a Cassiopeia Q and E combo, blah, blah, blah. You can't just say that. You have names.
Well, that's the biggest thing to me, because sometimes I'll actually know the name of the ability, but I won't know what key it's on. So I'll just be stuck saying the name of the ability, and I'll be like, yeah, that key is... And then somebody will say, well, why don't you just skill up W? And I'll be like, which one's W?
Which one? Is it this name?
So it kind of goes hand in hand. So big thing that just happened right now, GBM has been landing tons of poison all game long. Sumday doesn't have any boots. I'm going to blame him getting hit by almost every Noxious Blast on that.
Yeah, this is painful. This is actually the greatest counter pick you can have for the Kale.
One thing that it actually does do is it means that GBM is actually able to get his passive all the way stacked up to over 100 already, which means he's actually going to get both mana sustain and HP back from those Twin Fangs.
And he has a sustain advantage. Like, Sumday could work this lane alright if he had sustain on him, but it's actually Cassiopeia with Flask here, so he's going to be like landing sustained damage and at the same time healing up for any damage that Sumday puts on him. So Sumday needs to be creative here.
Yeah, and this is where you really start to see the benefit of starting with a crystalline flask. Every time you go back to base, you get so much just gold value that if you start with the Doran's ring, you're just not going to have. So GBM's already come back from base once, so he's refilled that up. Now he has exactly the same number of Doran's rings, exactly the same amount of CS, but an extra crystalline flask.
Alright, here comes the level 6 spike coming out of Sumday. He gets it first, so he's able to bully it out, but this wave should be able to give Gank by Mom the 600. There we go.
Unfortunately, GBM used his Twin Fangs to CS an unpoisoned minion, and so is going to actually miss quite a few of those CS under turret. However, he will hit the poison that he needs to get those Twin Fangs back out there, and gosh, ssumday has been basically using permanent potions here. GBM a little bit low on mana, so he does need to make sure he has as much sustain here as possible. We'll get up to about half before he is forced back out from his turret. I don't expect to see any kills just yet. Probably will wait for at least one more cycle of recalls before things get too serious.
Yeah, this might be a long one in the sense that A, Gank by Mom is playing it, and B, it's just the tail of the tape. We have a Kale that's just gonna infinitely push lane, and a Cassiopeia who's just gonna infinitely push lane. Actually, right now it's not looking out so well for her, but Cassiopeia does have the sustain advantage. At some point, Kale will run out of mana, so she can't just keep healing herself. It's gonna happen at some point, folks.
Double Dorans is a good way to get, all that mana back. I think it is 8 mana back every time you kill a minion, and of course the MP5 stacks as well. Or I think it's percent mana regeneration now that they've changed it. But yeah, shoving the wave in, something that GBM is actually starting to fall back on a little bit. He's actually directly tied in CS, but he's finally figured out how to CS under turret. Is doing a pretty good job of that. Actually tied in CS, even with all of ssumday's pushing.
I think at this point it's fine for Gank by Mom to go in, just simply because ssumday doesn't have a lot of
ssumday
HP.
is like less than 100 HP. He's gonna speed himself away, not unlike a Gungan sub, back towards his turret and go back to base.
I was actually about to yell like a Gank by Mom to flash in, but yeah, he has the exhaust TP.
Yeah,
So.
and that's actually kind of a wait. What is that teleport?
What?
He say, alrighty then, ssumday. I guess he figures he's not really gonna need the reduced cooldown, but I've never seen such an aggressive teleport under the enemy turret.
I think he heard us calling for him to be a little bit creative. I think he took it a little too literally. that was a bit too creative for me. He does have his 5 Doran's rings, so he will have that.
5 Doran's rings.
Is the sustain unique, by the way, on the mana per
No, it is
kill?
not. It actually does stack with each other. That's why double Doran's is actually a really good build to go on like Swain, because every time you kill a minion, you'll get Swain's passive mana regen back, plus twice the Doran's ring mana regen. It's pretty stupid how much mana you can get back off of Doran's ring Swain. So
Yeah, just watching it right now. Holy moly, she's getting so much mana back. What's a blue buff to Doran's ring?
yeah,
That's
well, if you actually remember back in the day, the strategy used to be, because Doran's rings were so cost effective when you sold them, was actually you just stack Doran's rings and then sell them off whenever you got enough money to buy, the item that you wanted. It used to be the same thing for 80 carries and Doran's blades too.
Yeah, this is actually just upsetting. The fact that I didn't even know this. It's like,
Whoa, there's
bought-
exhaust coming out, but GBM completely out of mana.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Oh, actually, okay. If he gets more mana through these,
Yeah,
through this wave right here, he can
he
actually.
just
outduel
used
him.
4 mana potions in a row.
Why didn't he use them before? Come on, Gank by Mom.
I gotta have that mana potion micro. Not something that a lot of pros practice, because people don't actually buy that many mana potions. Last
Oh
time
my-
in a professional game, you've seen 4 mana potions bought, Raz.
Yep. I'd be surprised if I see any mana potions in a game, but. Jeez, it's work. I guess he just forgot about it. He just looked at his inventory. He's like, "All right, I had these. I should probably use them."
It's like, well, the game might end anyways, so probably better to put these to use. I believe he still has 2.5 mana potions still in there, and he's actually going to hit the second charge. He's hit so much poison on ssumday that he's already up to 250 stacks for his Aspect of the Serpent, which gives him 10% increased AP and 25 CDR, or 25% CDR. And
Yeah,
so
that's
ssumday's
pretty
already
disgusting.
forced back to base.
He has to go back. That's 98 AP off of Cassiopeia, off of 4 Doran's rings alone. Like, what if he gets 2 more? It's over at that point. I really don't see ssumday coming out with this victory.
Someday we'll be able to at least put some CS down at his turret, but
Is that gonna kill him?
he's gonna have to ult, and I think if GBM had gone through for the all-in, he might have killed himself, so good job just backing up. Oh my god! Is that a click ability? Like,
is he scripting?
I don't know, man. Ganked by mom. He hits a nut. Oh my.
Oh my
I'm pretty
god.
sure he could have killed him with a twin fangs there.
Why was he walking away?
I think he's just dead to poison. He's just gonna die to poison.
Alright, rest in peace.
That's kind of the par for the course there. We're gonna get the epic replay of him dying to
We need a
poison.
slow motion.
Like one tick of poison at a time. And here we go. We actually do get the slow motion.
Oh
Ticking down, and there's his untimely demise. Ganked by mom. Consistent with his very, very long game times. That was an 11-minute, 45-second victory. Picks up a 2-0 over Ssumday.
In general fashion, he ends it really late. That was, oh my god, that was beautiful. That game as a whole, he pretty much said, "You got to find out if I'm scripting or not, because I'm just gonna keep hitting my abilities." Like I don't think he missed a Q there. Oh, actually, no, he did. But like, I want to see the percentage, the field goal percentage on that Q.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, you know, boots are a terrible item to buy in 1v1s because they give you 0 combat stats. But when you have to dodge things like poison, I don't know, it might have been a good pickup because, I mean, Ssumday just kept getting hit over and over. Like, if GBM had played Karthus, that game would have ended way more quickly because the skills would have been landing all over the place. But that means it is a 2-0 victory for GBM. No third game blind pick, and that's going to do it for our first semifinal matchup of the day. That means that we should be moving on to our second semifinal, and that'll actually be, I believe, Ambition versus OQ.
Old versus the new. It's gonna be an interesting match to watch between Old Guard, Ambition, used to be a mid laner, turned out to be a pretty phenomenal jungler actually, versus OQ, a pretty much a star in his own right. He's really, really solid. He's coming in with so much potential for the Najin crew. But yeah, this is gonna be a match to watch. I'm rooting for OQ, my boy.
Do want to give a quick honorable mention to at Noel Rochefort, who tweets at me and says Malphite auto attacks are also AoE. So I just want to hit that honorable mention to add a third one, and of course maybe Twisted Fate's red cards, but that is kind of an ability, so I guess we can count that too. But either way, we're gonna take a quick break before we get into our second best of 3. It's gonna be Ambition versus OQ coming up next here on the Solo King on Azubu TV. And hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Solo King 1v1 tournament here on Azubu TV. My name is Rapid, with me is Raz, and we are getting into our second best of 3. But in case you are just now joining us, just missed a 2-0 victory for Ganked by Mom over ssumday. That takes us into our second semi-final match between OQ and Ambition.
Oof, I'm ready for this one. This is gonna be pretty nice to watch. I was rooting for Ganked by Mom, but I feel like... I don't know, man. The two matchups were really solid in picks and bans alone, just based on Ganked by Mom's picks. So that was solid to watch. We get to see the Cassiopeia ban here, along with the Callista.
Alright, so a couple things to talk about. Over the course of the group stages, OQ's go-to champion was Misfortune. He's picked Misfortune into so many different matchups, just because he goes through this sort of... I think it was Zephyr that did it first in the Solo King, where you'll actually walk around the corner and get the flank on the enemy laner when he comes up to auto-attack the first wave, and then you just auto-attack him down with the impure shots and stack up that bonus magic damage, and it's just ridiculous how hard that is to deal with so early on. Plus, impure shots can actually stop the almost constant potion spam. So it's actually pretty cool to limit the healing in lane. So no actual ban on that Misfortune, which means we could see it picked up here by Ambition.
Oh my god.
After the insta-lock Urgot.
I don't know what you could possibly think of. Oh, okay, Graves.
I mean, Graves is a
Alright.
good pick into almost anything, but Urgot? I mean, we've seen it a couple of times. I believe Space might have actually played Urgot earlier. If I'm not mistaken. I'll go take a quick look through the stats here real quickly to see if I can see exactly where on earth. It was Bengi that played Urgot. I forgot that.
Alright. It's a really solid 1v1 champion, but it's one of those champions that you look at and you're just like, why does this champion exist? I feel it's so weird to say, but it just that's what it comes down to. And you get that mind game, insta-locking Urgot. Then, like, honestly, Ambition must be thinking, just like stunned for
Like,
just
what
like
do I
5
pick
seconds.
against that? Like,
Yeah.
let me go through my list of Urgot counter picks. I've got it right here, like right on my stack of other counter picks, except that it's probably not actually there, because I don't know. I keep in mind, like, initially when Urgot was very first starting to be played as an AD carry. It was like it was as a counter pick to like traditional AD carries who couldn't deal with as much like tankiness and damage that he could put out early. And he was like, whoa, why are we playing this champion? Isn't it cool? And then, of course, see the rise of guys like Yellow Pete, who is, very well known for being a strong Urgot player in his day. And, of course, the day of Urgot has come and gone. Or has it? Alive and well here in the Solo King. So,
I'm just waiting for Urgot to come in competitive play again.
yeah, come back to the LCS or the LCK. It's going to be the next victor. See,
Hey, Poke counters Victor, so this is just a little tip for all those Korean mid laners. Get your Urgot pants ready.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and get into some quick highlights here, because, Ambition and OQ have actually already faced off in this tournament once before. We're going to show you some highlights before we get into our first game, the second semifinal best of 3. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Solo King. Second best of 3 semi-final matchup coming your way between OQ and Ambition. And as you got a chance to see in our preview video, this is not the first time that these two players have faced off. Last time, I believe it was in the round of 6, and OQ actually wound up losing. Ambition took a 2-1 victory, it knocked him down into the losers bracket. And in the last chance wildcard qualifiers, OQ beat out the rest of the competitors to make it into the semifinals for a chance at revenge. And of course, he's looking at revenge on one of the champions that he's actually played before. I got a chance to see that series on Urgot in the combo video as well. And the question is this Urgot deserving of the 30% vote that he got from Inven versus Ambition's 70?
Oh my goodness. I wonder if these votes are coming out just because they see the champions, because that's what it feels like. not that Urgot's a bad champion. I actually think it's really good in the solo matchup, but we'll see how it works.
Yeah, because when you think about it, he's the only, I believe he is the only champion in League of Legends that has an attack damage based damage over time ability. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's correct. Somebody prove me wrong out there, but either way, he's got the ability to both take reduced damage and deal increased damage by lowering his target's armor with that Noxian corrosive charge. So the other thing that's great about Urgot is, you know, we get to say the names of all of his abilities.
Oh my god, I'm not gonna remember any of those.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So in case, and we'll get into the lane mechanics and details here in a second, but in case I am mistaken, it is his passive is Zon Touched Bolt Augmenter, which is what gives him the reduced damage. What you just saw there was Acid Hunters, his Qs, being combined with the Noxian Corrosive Charge. He's also got the ability to throw out a Terror Capacitor Shield, which adds slow to his auto attacks and Acid Hunters, as well as his ultimate, the Hyperkinetic Position Reverser.
Yep. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to, like, I'm never going to say that again, just because of his popularity here. But he's really solid right now. He's absolutely destroying, because he's getting those auto attacks in, which is really crucial for these trades. So I don't know how Ambition's going to be able to deal with it, honestly.
Yeah. Would also like to make a minor note that this is not actually Ambition. This is CJ Arnbition, because apparently that was taken, so he used an R and an N to make the M. There's
go on.
There's actually a North American player named Timo.
Oh, yeah.
But his name's actually Tierno, because the N is an R and an N. So great minds think alike, I guess.
I remember watching the Azubu streams for Ambition, and it's always just fun watching, because of course this is a solo queue account where he just has our Ambition, and it's like, alright, Who took my name? It's actually the same case with Scarra when Scarra was on Dignitas. You couldn't take the D Scarra because someone actually was playing it, and he couldn't like actually ask that Riot gave him that account simply because the guy was in Platinum and was also constantly playing. So I was like, all right, so that's just not my name anymore.
Yeah, that's the struggle. Maybe that means you name yourself like CL Scarra to make the D.
Yeah. He was like, I guess I'm just not gonna put the D in there.
Oh, a sentence I have said many times, Raz.
Oh God, come on, man. That's a good one. See, I actually never thought of that, and usually I'm the one with the gutter minds. Yeah, that works out.
Just walked right in there.
That was beautiful.
But as far as the game goes, not something we've talked about too much about. Mana limitations actually pretty high here for OQ. But as far as AD versus AD works, he's actually doing a fairly good job. Very even CS comparatively. I think he's down by like 2 or something, which isn't really going to impact things very much. But the big difference comes when he goes back to base. Traditionally, the most cost-effective item for AD carries is a Doran's Blade. But that's not actually going to give OQ any additional mana, which is traditionally a stat that you see stacked up pretty heavily on Urgot. So it'll be interesting to see what he goes for, because it should be primarily Doran's Blades.
Yeah, he just has to go Doran's Blades, because if he takes any more time to really go for anything else like Brutalizers, it's just not going to be, he's not going to have a fun time. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
I believe we have seen one Brutalizer in the Solo King, but it's so difficult to get those third-tier items because it means you have to sacrifice and get long swords instead of Doran's Blades, and then, you know, guaranteed that you'll have another trip back to base to complete that item as well.
Yeah, and you lose so much on that sustain because the lifesteal that's coming out of those Doran's Blades are so crucial. So he's gonna need them. He's just gonna stack them. It's not gonna be as useful for him as it is for Graves. Graves is gonna auto attack upon auto attack, and actually it's gonna like, okay. And also, yeah, Graves has a lot of room to just dodge out on.
Whoa, there's actually the hyperkinetic position reverser coming in. Shields for both players, but for Ambition, it's his Summoner's Spell Barrier. Exhaust still in there for Oku if he wants to use that later on. Dashing in for a buckshot. It's gonna be collateral damage as well, but Oku takes the worst end of that trade. Both ults down, but Ambition comes out ahead.
Yeah, that's an interesting trade. I don't know who won in that one. I think it's Ambition, just because Ambition gets the wave control, and at the same time, yeah, I think it's about it actually.
I believe Ambition's ultimate also will be slightly faster to cool down, but it was actually used so much afterwards that they'll both come off of cooldown at just about the same exact time. So we've already seen the first all-in, nothing ventured, nothing gained, with the exception that OQ still has his Exhaust Summoner spell, which could definitely turn things back around.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think he took it last game. I don't remember if he actually used it. Oh, he did use it once, but it wasn't really the best use of the exhaust. So I don't know. I don't know if I have that trust in him. Like, he is slowing him with the. All right, with the shield. Okay, that works. That's nice. That's cute.
Yeah, it's still a lot of mana to invest into an ability that doesn't actually deal any damage. It allows you to deal more damage from your asset hunters because you can hit more of them, but at the same time, I think the waves being shoved consistently here into turret is going to be a little bit of a bigger factor. His Ambition's starting to pull maybe a little bit further ahead, and of course by a little bit further ahead I mean 1 CS. So
that's all that matters. I feel like the more Doran's Blades you get, the more it's just going to be on Ambition's territory. Like, he's going to be able to win out just because he has more damaging abilities. His ulti is a damaging ability. His Q, his... Well, at that point, I guess his E works for that, since it just simply gives him a larger attack speed. As for Urgot, his ulti would just literally just move him around, unless if he's going to be putting him in tower range.
Well, to be fair, the hyperconnected position reverser actually does give him, I think it is 60 armor and magic resistance when you use it at level 1. Of course, it scales up level 3. Hyperconnected position reverser not only has an incredible range, because the range goes up too as you level, but it gives you 120 armor and magic resistance.
120, Jesus. I don't even know anything about this at this point. When I heard that, I was like, all right, I don't know anything about Urgot at that point, because that's actually a lot. That's a disgusting amount.
I believe it is the highest defensive steroid increase other than Galio's Bulwark and possibly Rammus's Shell. but I'm not exactly sure what that is. All right, ult for ult. We got Urgot going in, back in again. Very low mana for both players, but actually a little bit lower on the HP department there for OQ. Of course, he missed his Noxian Corrosive Charge too onto Ambition, so not the greatest trade.
Yeah, TP's coming out for both of them, I would say, in just about 15 to 30 seconds. So they're going to be a little bit more free to take any unfavorable trades just because they're going to go back anyways. It really doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at that point. They just have to survive until then. And the biggest thing that you have to watch out for is not getting into, you know, too big a CS differential. Because we're already starting to get close to that 100 CS mark. Just about 10-15 CS away. So
Yeah, actually the TP coming back is gonna favor OQ a lot more, just simply because he's on the back foot here. He is gonna like lose out in CS at any point in which he decides to back, because Ambition's doing really well and just pushing him in constantly. But
yeah, I don't actually think OQ can go back to base here. I think he would actually lose either his turret or the CS lead. So he's keeping it within 5 CS. And he is actually going to go back to base, so this actually could be the end of the game if Ambition hits all this CS before he can come back in here. I think this might actually just be game. Yeah, and there it is. It's a 10 CS advantage for Ambition. Questionable back timing there for OQ. Ambition takes game number 1 off of hitting 100 CS.
oof, alright, okay. that was anticlimactic.
Yeah, we saw the exact same thing in the Faker versus Ganked by Mom series. I guess somebody didn't tell Faker the rules or whatever, but he went back to base, and I think he wound up just like losing his turret when he went back there. I think somebody told him they were just playing for, I don't know, maybe first blood. But yeah, same situation here. Trip back to base, somewhat ill-advised, but just more overall damage from Graves, and that will put OQ actually down a game 1-0. Very familiar situation to be in, since he's actually already been there once this tournament.
And honestly, even just like backing at that point, I feel like he had to take that risk, because he was going to lose out in his turret. He's going to get constantly pushed in, or he's just going to get first blood, because the moment Graves had the opportunity to get his cooldown back on his collateral damage, he had like absolutely, he's going to lose on 3 fronts, and him backing, he had to do it as fast as possible to even get a chance at that game. So alright, so he took a chance, didn't work out. There's always game 2 here. Hopefully he'll bring it on back. Maybe not picking up Urgot. Urgot worked well up until a point.
And we still have yet to see OQ's real trademark champion misfortune. It's something that he's gone to in a lot of situations. He does this weird cloth armor start on misfortune, just as a counter to most other AD carries, since you outdamage most of them thanks to your auto attack reset from double up, and when you take a cloth armor early on. It's gonna give you a lot of defensive stats, but here we go, actually drawing an Urgot ban here. OQ is not going to give Ambition the opportunity to BM him by playing Urgot against him.
But he'll just pick up the Graves. Ambition will pick up the Graves. I'm not sure what OQ will do here. That has to be locked in. Like, Graves is the strongest 1v1 champion so far, because of course he'll get the passive defense off his auto attacks, and he just has so much like just innate strength in his base stats. So like I really don't see what you can do to really do. I thought I was taking a Kog'Maw way too seriously. I was like, are you serious? Oh, he does actually.
Wait, what? All right, that's a Kog'Maw. I have beside me, Raz, a list of popular 1v1 champions. You know which champion is not on that list? Kog'Maw. You know, it's great to like farm from distance. If he goes for some like wacky hybrid Kog'Maw, you can actually put a lot of damage into things like the Bioarcane Barrage and Caustic Spittle. You know, it's I don't know. It's a very questionable pick, specifically versus Graves, who may exercise his ability to unlock Kog'Maw's 5th ability, his passive, the Cathian Surprise.
Like, I feel like, okay, so he saw the Graves pick, and he was like, alright, I'm gonna go as squishy as possible, and I'm picking Kog'Maw. I don't know, I guess if he goes AP, he can get...
Okay, he's running HP per level. I believe the 7% is 7% attack speed?
Yeah.
But as far as masteries go, you can see fairly standard AD masteries. 3 points in Warlord for extra AD there. On the other side for Ambition, pretty standard AD attack speed and 9 points in armor. Nothing too crazy out there. Did split up the AD a little bit strangely with 2 attack speed runes or quintessences and the rest AD.
Alright, so I'm just gonna say OQ knows something I don't, because that pick, in my understanding, I don't think that's gonna work against the Graves. You never know though. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. Give it, benefit of the doubt. Hopefully, he proves me wrong. The Kog'Maw pick might work, maybe. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I do want a great game 3 here.
All right. Well, to be fair, I was actually rooting for OQ ever since the beginning. I was like, this guy is one of, if not the best AD carry in LCK this season. I mean, maybe you make some cases for Prey, but I don't know. OQ just seems so talented. I remember watching the very first game of LCK. I think it was Najin versus SKT, and I believe game 1 OQ put SKT's bottom lane in the dumpster, and it was just not even close. He just destroyed them, and at that point you're like, wow, this guy is actually the real deal. And while in the subsequent games he actually wound up losing extremely badly in a couple of them, he did still put up some big numbers, and ever since then he's been just incredibly impressive over the course of this season. So I really wanted him to do well, and I mean, he's here in the semifinals, but has lost to Ambition in a previous best of 3. We'll see if he can get his revenge here.
Yeah, hopefully. He's been picking out some really entertaining champs, to say the least.
I mean, to be fair, he might have been looking for a more, I guess, non-standard matchup. But I think versus a Graves, like Graves just so self-sufficient as an AD carry. So
trying to figure out a champion that can actually deal with Graves, because it's a very popular pick right now, in the sense that, like, I don't think any champion can come out and actually deal with it. Maybe Cassiopeia, possibly.
Yeah, I think one of the big ones that deals with it pretty well is Caitlyn, just because she has a lot longer range, so she never really has to get in range of Graves' buckshot damage.
Yeah.
She also has the ability to just win via almost every win condition. It's really easy to CS, it's really easy to harass, and it's really easy to deal damage to turrets just because you are so far away. So
that's true. Caitlyn, Sivir, hopefully, if she doesn't take a tower shot.
I was gonna say that turret shot was just, oh man, I hate to watch that.
Yeah, it was a very nice game up until that point. But you know what? At least I feel like it wasn't Yasuo, because I feel like Yasuo players will always take that turret shot because putting as much damage as possible.
All right, let's go ahead and get into game number 2. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 in our second semifinal, best of 3 between Ambition and OQ. So Ambition up 1-0. Exactly the same, a little bit of deja vu if you guys remember the round of 6 matchup between these two players. Ambition actually took a 2-1 victory over OQ. See if OQ's pocket pick Kog'Maw has what it takes. No ability power on that Kog'Maw.
Okay.
So it is just going to be straight up AD. Does have, I think it was 3 to 4 less AD than Ambition does. And I think that's just because he put, I believe, 3 points in Warlord early on, instead of OQ, who put a point in Blade Weaving and Spell Weaving instead.
I think the advantage Kog'Maw has in this is simply based off of his W. Don't know the name for that one as well. But the range on it can give him, and I guess he can out harass him, hopefully. He's pretty immobile, so Graves can just pretty much close the distance as fast as possible. But I'm trying to figure out how it can win this matchup. And I guess once Kog'Maw gets all of its abilities, then we can find some poking. That's actually a pretty good one. You can poke out Graves pretty well at that point.
Is Kog'Maw a boy or a girl?
I want to say a girl?
Well, you know, he's the mouth of the abyss, and while, you know, human beings may have, you know, one gender or another, I don't think mouths do. So, especially not mouths of the abyss. So I'm just gonna go with it.
Okay, it works.
I don't want to make like the Rek'Sai mistake that a lot of casters do, but
Oh right, yeah, I remember. I remember reading the lore and be like, okay, I'm not gonna remember the fact that that she's a girl, but oh, at least I remembered it now. At least we won't be able to see that make that mistake because Rek'Sai won't be coming out for whatever reason.
hey, we have seen actually one Rek'Sai game, and I believe it was a win. I don't
Really?
recall who played it, but yeah, there have been Rek'Sais in this tournament. There's been like the weirdest champions. We had a Braum versus Alistar game. It was not good, but it was exciting nonetheless. You had headbutts under turret, forcing flashes. It was pretty cool. But now we get to see somewhat the limitations of this AD Kog'Maw. It's gonna be CSing under turret for a while.
Yeah, Oku's probably thinking, oh god, what happened? What was I thinking when I made this choice here?
He's playing for the late game, Raz. He's wants to scale up and get that you know, late game hyper carry status going on.
He's channeling his inner gank by mom. He wants that 11-minute late game here.
When your late game comes at 11 minutes, that feel when you're Kog'Maw. It does have a nice caustic spittle there, so some nice armor reduction. I believe it also reduces magic damage too.
I think so.
By 12% at rank 1. So there you go. So to check out the way that these players are actually leveling their skills, you have 2 in Q, 1 in W. No points in the very early game centric smoke bomb pickup.
Yeah.
Did you know? I actually learned this from the AD carry of Rascal Jester, a Japanese team, last night. If you put a smoke bomb down on the point where an enemy is teleporting in, it will actually stop their home guard boots advantage.
Oh my god, I think I was watching that and I didn't even, that was the point at which I realized that, and I was like, that is ingenious.
Exactly, like you see the Malphite or the Hecarim teleporting in with home guard boots, and you're just like, oh crap, throw down the smoke bomb, no home guard advantage, so that's pretty cool. No home guards probably being built this game, but nonetheless, still an interesting invention. Learn something new every day.
Something I want to point out is the fact that, of course, OQ Ambition playing both AD carries. Now, the reason why I'm pointing this out is the fact that OQ has an advantage in this sense. He's actually trading really well, and every possibility he gets a chance, he'll put in that harass. And Ambition is kind of slow to react at some point, so I feel like this is just at one point it just feels like OQ is winning just simply because that's his role.
Yeah, and Ambition, definitely taking a lot of damage, even though he's able to trade it right back. And yeah, like you mentioned, AD carry versus jungle. Although Ambition has had his fair share of roles as far as his competitive play. I believe he actually used to be the mid laner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
I guess he's had a few
whoa,
Israel games.
Ambition might just straight up die here. Keep in mind he does not have flash, so.
Jeez, I don't think he knows the range of Kog'Maw. He's taking way too much harass, and honestly, it's a really surprising thing, Kog'Maw's rage. People don't seem to understand how far he can actually reach once he activates his W. And the cooldown of it's not something that most mid laners will, of course, know. Like, that's just, and of course he is maxing it, as he should. So that's, Ambition's gonna be struggling here. If he knew the full range of Kog'Maw in the sense that the cooldowns on his W, that he would be able to work around it, but he doesn't, so he's getting poked out here.
Oh, OQ actually canceled an auto attack there, so that was a little bit rough to watch, but very even trades at this point. Both coming back with exactly the same itemization, same number of potions as well, although I believe there might be one less on OQ's Kog'Maw for the time being.
I feel like the winner of this is whoever can micro their potions along a lot better than because they're just bursting their potions right now. So that's a little interesting to see. Okay, so Ambition gets the wave control advantage here.
Scary thing is though, level 6 for both players. You know, while OQ may have like the more utility-based level 6 ultimate there with the living artillery, at some point, like, he's just gonna get exploded, I feel. So it could definitely be, you know, come down to whether or not OQ can play safely enough to be able to use that living artillery to find an advantage here in lane. Because I feel like Ambition can just walk forward, just leverage this ultimate right back and forth. And yeah, there it is. OQ down way below.
Oof, yeah, that definitely hurts. And I think as the matchup progresses, Ambition will start to get used to the range on this, and he'll be able to abuse it because, yeah, he's even dodging. Oh my god, he's going right back in on him.
Yeah, and very aggressive trades that OQ really can't deal with. OQ, keep in mind, has Flash as a summoner spell. I think it would have been much better to bring something like an Exhaust or Barrier, given the fact that, I mean, Flash is going to help you defensively when Ambition tries to kill you, but it's not actually going to help you win the game. It's just going to help you not lose it.
Unless, of course, if he does some really flashy play of, like, dodging the skill shots off of Ambition.
Like dodge the buckshot and then go in from him, from behind him. It's a possibility, but that would take very, very quick reflexes. And collateral damage actually is not up for Ambition, so he won't necessarily have too much kill potential right now. He does have lower HP. Ambition might just be able to win the trade, but it's a barrier to come out. And great job by OQ to avoid trying to win that all in. If Ambition hadn't had barrier, I think OQ might have been able to win.
Yeah, and the CS, he doesn't have much of a CS advantage. He can just go right back. He gets seen from the summoner. But yeah, he can go right back. He's gonna miss out on a wave or two. Ambition will probably go back and get a few Doran's blades as well. So, okay, that's fair. Does he have TP up? No, he doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, neither mid laner does have TP, so that's a long, lonely trip back to lane. Downside for OQ is that, you know, Ambition's not going to lose quite as much CS.
Yeah, that's a pretty dangerous backing from OQ. I'm kind of sad that he made the same mistake as last time. This time he didn't actually need to, maybe, possibly. He does get the lifesteal off of Vamp Scepter, so same as Ambition, I guess.
But it's very strange to see Vampiric Scepters built up here, specifically when these are 280 carries that are constantly trading. It's not like you have like a Sivir versus Caitlyn, where they're going to be primarily just, you know, killing the minions in lane. These guys are actually hitting each other over and over again, and I don't know how well Vamp Scepter fits into that. I mean, if you do decide to play that long game, like we saw earlier in GBM's game, and take it to like the 11, 12, 13 minute mark, which is considered, I guess, late game here in the 1v1, it's gonna get close. Caustic Spittle landed, and yeah, Ambition, there are some situations where he still can't trade with OQ.
Yeah, I can understand why OQ would get the Vamp Scepter. He wants to get the free poke off of his lifesteal. I mean, get lifesteal off of the free poke that he would get. Not so much sure about Ambition. Ambition just wants to be able to burst him down. So Doran's Blades just across the board would be perfect.
Alright, well, going in. There's the collateral damage forced out again. Caustic Spittle really turning that matchup around, and Living Artillery starting to hit a couple of those. Avoids one more buckshot, and you look at the CS right now, getting very, very close to that 10 CS advantage. Ambition gets ever closer. Win for Ambition. Knocks OQ out of the Solo King and puts Ambition in the grand finals. So a lot on the line here. So Q playing this one very, very closely.
He brought it right back to 3 CS. He has to constantly auto attack because he can't afford to actually just be under tower again. Like, at that point, he's just gonna lose out. There's no way he's gonna be able to. Wait, he's actually trading. Okay, all right, that's fair. That's a decent trade. But he is out of mana, so Ambition can really walk all over him in this set.
Yeah, he has to get OQ has to get perfect CS from here on out. Otherwise, he's gonna fall far enough behind. He's actually 2 CS away, 2 or 3 CS away from giving Ambition the win off of 100 CS. Oh man, Ambition.
Oof.
Keeps eating those living artillery shots. That is not gonna win him this game.
Ambition needs to calm down. He has a pretty easy game up until this point. If he has more
Whoa!
mana,
Flash on in. There's the Voidoos. Living Artillery not going to land.
Oof. Alright, that was a really good attempt. Ambition has a lot of mana.
Oh my
just
god.
back in.
Ambition is playing a very very dangerous game here. To use the name of the master. Going back in. There's the buckshot into collateral damage, but Ambition. Oh my god. OQ almost took that turret shot.
Oh my god.
This is so close. And both players realizing that TPs, they're up. They're going to be used here. There's a 1 CS advantage, and it's the makings of a Bilgewater Cutlass for Ambition. What's OQ going for? Yep, it's a Bilgewater and he gets an extra Doran's Blade.
Alright, we're starting to see it. This game is beautiful. Did he just rebuy his...
Yeah, he sold and rebought it. Or he sold and then undid the transaction. So
Oh, okay.
we're just clearing the minion wave as quickly as possible, but trading it back between 80 carries. It looks like Ambition might actually... Okay, he doesn't have enough CS to win just the straight up 1v1, but OQ does need to get almost every single one of these under turret. Okay, he missed so many of them. He's down 4 CS in the 1v1, but I want to see how this, how just the overall damage goes in, because I don't think this is going to be a CS win. This is definitely going to involve one champion dying. It looks like, whoa, Ambition having a rough time. Goes in for the burst. There's both Bilgewater Cutlasses. I think Ambition might actually lose this. He doesn't have barrier up. It's OQ. He's going in. One more auto attack. He's going to pick up the kill. It's OQ that wins the 1v1 versus Ambition's Graves and ties the series at 1-1.
That was beautiful, man. That was so good. I didn't think he'd be able to win it, but the armor shred off of that Q, that was beautiful. That was really nice. Oh my goodness. He somehow was able to bring it on back. That was great. I'm still not sold on the Kog'Maw pick, by the way, but hey, he worked it. He really did.
Yeah, and you don't really think of Caustic Spittle as that impactful of a skill. I think at that rank it only reduced 16% of Graves' armor and magic resistance, but that's actually a little bit more given the effectiveness of True Grit. As it stacks up, it just makes that Caustic Spittle a little bit more effective. But man, the closeness of that 1v1 came down to just one auto attack, and OQ had it. So that is going to be game number 2, actually tying the series, taking us to our first blind pick game number 3 of the day.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm kind of expecting a Graves versus Graves. Call me crazy. Like, that's just, I feel like that's just been the strong champion coming out for the day. I actually feel like Ambition would have been able to win that if he was able to just simply hit more skill shots. I guess it's weird to say, but like it just came down to him missing an ulti that actually would have won him that set. And at the same time, he just simply would have won, and based off of CS advantage, if he just played it calmly, channeled his inner gank by mom, and just pushed it right onto the tower.
Interestingly enough, kind of an interesting fact, I believe it is actually Ambition that has the longest overall game time of the entire tournament. If I can find that stat here. Damn it, I had it up like 2 seconds ago. I believe it is an upwards of 13-minute game for Ambition. So definitely something to keep an eye on when it comes to the time that you can expect these games to end.
Yeah, if he wants to, they'll go on for a while.
These are the games that never end.
Hey, how about if, oh god, we're going into the blind pick. What if we see a double Kog'Maw late game?
Oh my gosh, they just keep it at 100 CS, no 10 CS advantage. Yeah, it's actually the longest match of the tournament goes to Ambition at 15 minutes and 52 seconds versus Coco.
Oh my god, I want to rewatch that video. I want to see what happened. How did it get to 15 minutes? What were they even playing? Jeez.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was Ambition's Group D game versus Coco. It was in game number 2, but I'm not exactly sure what champions they were playing. Although I may be able to find out here.
And the amount of games we're seeing in this tournament's quite a bit. And by quite a bit, it's a lot. There were 48 players.
It was Graves versus
draw.
Lucian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ambition was playing Lucian to Coco's Graves, and took them 15 minutes, almost 16 minutes to close out that game. The game went so long, Coco actually had a BF sword on his Misfortune.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Of course, Ambition had a
actually see
BF
6
sword
items.
too. Yeah, it was BF sword, quad Doran's blades afterwards. So, kind of an
That's pretty
interesting way to end the game. But yeah, definitely the longest game that we've seen of this entire tournament. Of course, we've seen very short games too. I believe the shortest game of the tournament also clocks in at 3 minutes and 26 seconds. It was Pure versus Trace
Oh, okay.
in their second game, and let me see exactly which champions they were playing too. Just trying to figure this out. That was in the Group D round of 6. Of course, I believe we are actually going to get into our blind pick game here as well. I check on those matchups. No bans, but we are into champion picks. Ambition has already locked in Cassiopeia.
Alright, already. I feel stupid for the Graves comment. Cassiopeia is beautiful in this matchup. I don't want to see Garen, and I don't know about the... Okay, Lucian is decent.
Yeah, Lucian and
Ezra.
Graves are both okay, but we haven't seen OQ's Misfortune yet. He uses it primarily as an AD carry counter, so not knowing what he's going into might make him a little bit hesitant.
Corki, though. Corki seems nice.
There are going to be some weird things to balance here, like how do you balance against Cassiopeia's innate sustain, both for mana and HP, once she gets her 100 stacks.
I think he's liking the...
He's liking the Urgot. He's
There we
locking
go.
it in, and oh my gosh.
He wants to prove its effectiveness here.
It's an
And
Urgot versus Cassiopeia.
this is gonna be hilarious. Just a lot of spamming, and actually, this works perfectly because first time around, he's up against Graves, and Graves will be able to just like dash right out of it. But this time around, Cassiopeia is gonna be a sitting duck.
Or a sitting snake, as the case may be. Also, another factor you have to keep in mind, matchup actually pretty imbalanced when it comes to legs. 0 versus 4.
Oh god,
It's a pretty big difference.
yeah. He has
Usually-
2 legs for Cassiopeia. He'll do the walking for her.
It's true. Boots and apparently Urgots, both made for walking for other people. So let's go ahead and check out the rune page here. For at least OQ, he's going with a fairly standard caster 80 rune page, 2190. Really questionable not picking up the points in mana regen, which I think would actually be really key in this matchup given the sustain issues.
Yeah, I guess he's just trying to end it early. He does. I think he will be able to. I don't want to say he'll end it early, but I think he should be able to take control of the lane if he hits his acid hunters.
See, you got one of Urgot's ability names down.
I'm working on it. Everything's slowly but surely. These champion names will come to mind. 4 abilities per champion. I don't even want to know how many champions there are in this game anymore. Just keeps getting higher every day.
Man,
Sooner or later, we'll just be taking up Dota champions. Just placing them right in there.
Alright, so game should be loading up here in just a few minutes, but I guess probably the biggest thing, I asked myself this the first time OQ ran Cloth Armor Misfortune into a lane. It's like, is he playing this absolutely completely seriously? And the answer is yes, specifically with his Urgot picks. It's like, not necessarily the the meta dictated champion a lot of times, but definitely one that he has success with. But it's kind of, I mean, his back's up against the wall here. He has to pick the champion that he thinks will do best in every matchup. It's not just one specifically.
Exactly. And Cassiopeia works in the sense that you try to think about what matchup would Cassiopeia do poorly in. And it's really hard to come up with an actual answer for that. And I feel like you can make the same case for Urgot. So I want to say it's a skill matchup because whoever hits their auto their skill shots pretty much snowballs from that point forward because they're just not gonna stop pressing their buttons. It's gonna keep happening.
Yeah, we already saw what it looks like when you just choose not to dodge the Noxious Blast coming out and just take a million poison damage over the course of the game. That was very, very rough first series of the night to watch. So if you haven't seen that series, I'm not going to spoil it. Go back and watch it. That was our first semifinal series, but this is the last game of our second semifinal between OQ and Ambition. Do you want to give a quick shout out to this channel? Of course, if you want to make sure to know whenever Solo King goes live, follow the channel right down below and stick around. We're coming back with game number 3. What a way to start the game. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Ambition versus OQ. Game 3 blind pick. You're in our second best of 3 semifinal of the night. My name is Rapid. With me is Raz. I guess we can call this like the Raz-Pid combo.
The Raspid, that's what I like to hear.
Sounds like some bizarre like fruit that you
It does actually.
put in a pie. It's like the Raspid berry pie. I don't know.
Raspid.
I don't think that's
pie.
a very marketable combo name, but
I've heard worse. I'm trying to think
guilty
of
as
something.
charged.
Raspid. Trying to think of something that. Huh.
I don't know. Rapid Plasm doesn't have quite the same like ring to it.
See I see what you mean there. I like rapid. It can grow on you. Raspid.
Oh my god. Let's just talk about the champions here. Ambition versus OQ. There's no way to combine their names that sounds good. So I feel like I am safe from that pitfall as we progress into this 1v1, which actually isn't progressing very well at all. OQ not going to go for that super awesome strategy where you walk forward and suicide to the turret for extra damage. Ambition right there to stop him. So
Yeah, they're ready. They saw that last game. They know the strengths of those early hits to the tower. Every
Now,
shot matters.
Oh, bullseye on that snipe from the Scrying Orb. Trinket picked up for both players, and this is not the upgraded Scrying Orb. It does not leave a mini ward behind. Otherwise, that would have been an extra CS for OQ.
Oh god, I forgot. Yeah, that counts. Jeez. Yeah, no wards on any of these people.
Yeah, we've actually had players pick up sweeping lenses early, just in case their opponents put down warding totems, so that they could get the extra CS. Some next level plays.
That is next level. That's pretty smart.
Of course, if your opponent doesn't bring a warding totem to lane, you're just sitting there with like a completely useless trinket because there's nothing to sweep.
Hey, you never know. At one point, they're just gonna come up with a Vayne pick, and suddenly you just need to upgrade that trinket. You never.
I just want to know the world in which you've like just randomly got like 280 gold to spend on upgrading your trinket. It is 280, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I'm still a little bit new to the whole pay to change your trinket or pay to upgrade your trinket stats because it used to actually be like 475.
Yeah. So it was. I don't know how I feel about that now. It feels so easy to just upgrade your trinket. A little too easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Work for that.
Yeah, because you used to have to like really make the decisions like, do I buy a boot enchant or do I upgrade my trinket? It's a little bit of an easier decision now.
Oh god, he's hitting his he's hitting his Hergot Q. See, I will not go as far to remember that Q. But he's so far it's oh my.
Whoa, they're gonna go. Somebody's going down here. It's OQ who wins the 1v1. That terror capacitor coming up right at the end. And flashes for both carries mean that, there's no way to get out of this. They're both locked on. They walk right up to each other to minimize the distance between their projectiles. The health coming back, actually not yet for Cassiopeia. She was not at that 100 stack mark, and OQ coming up, taking the 1v1 in a 3-minute and 30-second game.
Ouch. That's all I gotta say on that one. Ambition didn't hide behind his minions as fast as he should have. So he was just taking those Acid Hunters free of charge. So, actually no, he had them locked on, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So minions probably wouldn't have made a big difference there. If he didn't have that lock on, then yeah, dodging away through those minions would have been a great way to win that 1v1. Consequently, if Cassiopeia had 100 stacks, then that would have given her the ability to get health back off of that trade, so that definitely could have been one way to win that back. But yeah, 2-1 for OQ, which means that not only did he lose his first best of 3 versus Ambition, he came back through the losers bracket, which is essentially like a wild card spot, to make the last and final place in this semifinals. Gets a chance at revenge and gets it in the narrowest of 2-1 victories that we've seen this entire day long. So that means that he is actually going to advance to the next round. That'll put him in the grand finals. But before we get that, we actually get to, an opportunity to see the 3rd and 4th place match, which will be what is coming up next.
See, I love this simply because it feels like a Hollywood movie. Like OQ goes through this entire tournament format, gets knocked down, you think it's over for him. He goes through this gauntlet of pain, comes out alive, and gets a revenge for the man who put him in that position to begin with.
And
Game
to add
3.
insult to injury, he got it with Urgot too.
Now he can just constantly in every solo queue game from here on out, if he sees Ambition, he's gonna say, "Hey, remember that Urgot game?" Or even the moment he finds out that Ambition's on that enemy team, he's gonna flash that Urgot pick. Oh my god.
That's so troll. They're gonna. I just want to see these two guys play in LCK against each other.
Oh, see, that would be hilarious. The moment that happens, the next game, I swear to God, if I see that flashing Urgot pick, I'm just done.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break, throw up a montage. We'll be right back with our 3rd and 4th place matchup here in the Solo King on Azubu TV.
자, 먼저 들어갔는데요.
지금 근데 등을 보이면 엄청 맞았기 때문에
네.
이겼어 이거는. 한 번 더.
있는 대로. 자, 썸데이 오늘 공격적입니다.
패기가 장난 아닌데요. 근데 약간 좀
자, 일단 그 우호랑파 선수 다 다시 한 번 더 전투적으로 들어붙는데
자신감
자체는 모든 걸 다 해준 게 맞아요. 할 수 있는 건 다 했는데
어디에 있습니까?
하나,
자,
그냥 갈고
문제!
끝내려는 분들이 저런 식으로 스쿠스하는 경우가 있는데
네, 오늘 초반부터 자, 썸데이 강력하게 몰아붙입니다.
아프거든요, 걔는. 했던 게 크게 작용을 했어요. 스킬 다
먼저 지금 한번 들어가 보는데요. 자,
한 대가!
썸데이.
와, 쏜데 지금 계산이 완벽한데요.
아니 이거 진짜 방금은 여기서 상대방의 스킬이 전부 빗나갔으니까 벼락 같은 타이밍에 들어가서 그냥 생각을 잡아오르는
이게
좋습니다.
마린 선수 입장에서는 썸데 선수가 피청을 들고 온 거를 계산했으면
네.
첫 번째 피청
냈습니다. CS 경차는 22대 10.
저거 많이 안 가죠? 가나요?
갔어요.
가졌네요.
네.
라이언님 이게 가네요. 네, 가네요.
스위치도 영리한 게
네.
보통 저기로 딱 나와서 먹는데 거기
와,
이렇게
제대로 들어갔어.
마무리 안 되네요.
마린 선수 살아가는.
여기서 비장의 한 발. 얼음가 뭐 얼음무덤 썼죠?
그렇죠. 얼어붙어서 자기가 얼어붙.
자, 근데 제대로.
마린!
잡아내면서 썸데이 선수.
Get down, get up again. Come on, move, get down.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Solo King 1v1 tournament here on Azubu TV. My name is Rapid, with me is Raz, and we're getting into our third and fourth place matchup coming your way. It's Ambition taking on Ssumday.
Oh boy. Looks like this is going to be the... I wonder who's going to actually win in this one. I guess everyone is, but Ssumday is someone I'm rooting for. Actually, he immediately takes up the Graves pick versus, no, Varus.
Yeah, Varus is a pick that we've seen intermittently here in the Solo King, and it's primarily picked versus matchups that either don't have a lot of sustain or want to get like really up close into the minion wave. Picks versus a lot of melee matchups too, but versus Graves, I don't know, it feels like that the mana restrictions are going to be a little bit rough to deal with, although we have seen Varus's win games before. Of course, we've also seen quite a few Graves wins, and I feel like we've seen a lot more of those respectively, so...
I wonder what Varus will max here. Most people do max out his Q for the poke damage, but I do see value in maxing out his E, which applies Grievous Wound, and at the same time it's assured damage. Like, you're not going to be able to miss that ability, unless if you have some talent.
Yeah. Another style of playing Varus is that you can actually stack some attack speed on him from your runes and masteries, and then actually max your Blighted Quiver, and that'll mean that you'll want Hail of Arrows to be the spell that you really go for, because it's so easy to pop those Blighted Quiver stacks, so it can actually make a big difference. Another benefit of Hail of Arrows is you get a slow that scales up in percentages, 5% every single rank that you put into it. And of course, you did mention those Grievous Wounds. You're almost always going to have a potion running in lane, so it can also cut the effectiveness of that.
Yeah, so I'm taking a liking to the pick. I just don't feel like it's going to be a sufficient answer to Graves. The burst, I feel like Graves has everything in that sense, especially for laning phase. Like in an actual game, Graves kind of falls off later on because he can, I feel like he falls out in damage compared to most champions, or at least most AD carries that really go up against him. In this sense, you're constantly in laning phase. You're gonna have that. You're gonna have to deal with the Graves just popping you in the face. So,
And I mean, Graves does have a little bit of early game advantage from his True Grit passive, and you know, the steroid as far as attack speed on quick draw is actually pretty decent. Whereas opposed to Varus, his only attack speed steroid is from killing a minion, which is actually just it's pretty tiny. I believe he gets what is that, 20% attack speed for 3 seconds when he kills a minion.
yeah.
And of course, he gets double that when he kills a champion, but I don't think that'll be too beneficial.
Yeah.
Like, you get all these bonuses when you kill a champion, which would win you the game anyway. Oh. It's a little bit like that dangerous game passive. It's like, well, we really wish this would actually do something, but let's find out who will win. Game number 1 is coming your way right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Solo King here on Azubu TV. My name is Rapid. With me is Raz, and we're into game number 1 of our 3rd and 4th place match. Played an entire season of this. It's lasted for, I think, the better part of a month, and it's all come down to ssumday versus Ambition, fighting for that 3rd and 4th place spot.
They're all putting it on the line here. They both, of course, have Catalyst. I mean, not Catalyst. Crystalline Flask. Jeez, they're gonna be trading a bit of damage here and there.
Alright, so if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Varus has a 575 range for his auto attack range, whereas Graves has 525. So there is a 50 auto attack range difference between both players. And oh, ssumday's gonna watch the back, walk forward for 1 auto attack, come back from base.
God, I was about to say maybe he can go in for 2, but that would just be the end of the game, I guess.
No, you actually do have to get first blood. Like, a
Oh, you
champion
do?
has to kill you. So the champion that wins the game is the one that gets a kill, not the one that dies.
See, I don't know why he just doesn't sacrifice himself then. At that point, go all in, get that 3rd hit. I don't know how advisable that'd be, but that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how they want to play that, but either way, we're gonna see Flask starts for both AD carries. CJ, our ambition, has gone for the 3 health potion start and is actually going to stay in lane to get an extra wave shove rather than picking up that 150 extra HP from another potion.
I wonder what ability he got first. He's not really showing anything. He's not even using it to clear the wave here.
Yeah, that's actually kind of questionable because he walked forward and used his hail of arrows just to get damage onto ssumday, and ssumday used his buckshot on the minion wave, so I really feel like that nullifies the early advantage that Ambition had from pushing that wave early on.
Yeah, and honestly, Hail of Arrows does not cost that much. Okay. Yeah, ssumday is running a health potion, so that works really well in just absolutely mitigating that. So that's solid. I think ssumday made a mistake there to continue that auto trade.
Yeah, and you noticed Ambition walked forward into auto attack range so that he was forcing ssumday to not just walk right out of the Hail of Arrows field, because he would have lost out on those auto attacks. So he had to keep orb walking to keep those auto attacks coming out, which kept him in the pool. So Ambition now hitting level 2, and yeah, he's not going for the Q max, which you mentioned is another popular strategy. He's going for Hail of Arrows and then Blighted Quiver to pop those stacks of Blight, get a little bit of extra bonus damage.
This is a solid strategy. He should go in for his... I don't think he should go in for his Q at this point. I think he should just level 2 his... Oh, never mind, just kidding. He's gone for it. He is he's completely out trading ssumday in this respect. And ssumday's just chugging potions, so I think he should just put on a Hail of Arrows and... God, this is actually a really funny matchup. This works. It worked a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah, not going for the Q2 now. Big minion wave here. Ambition gonna back towards his turret. That was a big buckshot, and while we've seen Ambition win a lot of the trades this game, did not win that one.
That was really smart from ssumday. He actually dodged forward rather than going backwards. If he did go backwards in that trade, he would have lost a lot from that. He would have taken damage from that Hail of Arrows, so... Okay, he's taking control of this lane. He's able to freeze. Alright, there we go.
Alright, yeah, pushing it into the turret now. Minions will be last hittable there by Ambition, so I don't think he'll miss too many of them. Actually, might miss one of them, but he's gonna take this harass under turrets. Means he will be forced to be the first one back to base.
Alright, and the advantage starts. Actually, he's gonna stick around a little bit. Yeah, because if he backs right now, it's not gonna be good for him at all, obviously. So he does have the poke advantage. He can trade a bit more, and then he's playing it really smart right now.
Someday very low as well, but he's gonna hit that level 5 power spike, gives him those extra bonus stats. Cannon Minion's a big deal. Ambition gonna walk forward and almost dies to Smoke Bomb.
And he doesn't get the cannon minion, so he took so much free damage. So that was just not worth it.
He does have barrier here. Someday might commit through the turret here. Ambition gonna go for it. The damage coming down. Doesn't want to aggro the creep wave here. Needs one more auto attack. Whoa, Ambition has barrier, or Someday has barrier too. So the battle of the barrier baits here. But look at that CS4 advantage there for Someday. Will get spotted out there. Oh, Piercing Arrow kills Someday right now. If he doesn't barrier, so man, just
oh my god, that
battle.
was as much tension as the Cold War right there. who was gonna pull it first? That was just like no one wanted to pull the trigger, but they were willing to. They were.
I mean, basically, Someday was underneath Ambition's turret at that point, just daring him to auto attack and get minion aggro. But recalls for both the AD carries, both coming back to lane at exactly the same time with, by the way, identical items picked up.
There we go. Okay, so game's still completely even in that sense. So wait, actually, Graves has a significant minion advantage.
Yeah, he's about 7 CS up, and now, oh, Ambition. Gonna have to back
He's
behind that
outplaying.
turret. Yeah. He's gonna have the sustain to stay in there, but this is a little bit difficult. Now, Someday is gonna stand for quite a while there on that pool, so talked about the reduced healing. Oh, pops those 3 blighted quiver stacks too, so Ambition keeping the damage coming out, but he is losing these trades.
And earlier we were talking about we were making a bit of a joke about microing your health potions, or just like knowing when to use them, how to value them. Against Varus, it's gonna definitely be a factor. If you don't know when to pop your health potions at what... Oh god, he eat right into it, alright.
Whoa, and there's double barriers immediately. Someday gonna take the worst side of that trade by far, and now Ambition misses, or Someday missed the buckshot. Ambition off of just that one trade might have just sealed the deal here in this lane. Someday will be able to sustain through it, but yeah, like I said, that E into the ultimate, that was a little questionable.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think Someday has the freedom to go back. He's not that far back in minions. Actually, he's gonna stick around. He does have a lot of sustain actually, so he's gonna stick it around. Look for a fight when he can. He does have collateral damage, so he can burst him when he has the opportunity.
Oh, Ambition walking backwards, kiting towards his turret. Minion wave being pushed in here. Ambition does have enough AD to last hit these minions, but has to be careful about taking too much harassment while he's doing it.
Yep, and I just gotta wonder when that collateral damage is gonna come out and what use is it gonna have. We've been seeing a lot of people use collateral just to poke him out of the lane and have that lane advantage. That's probably the way to play it here. He does have a significant CS lead, so does Someday want to stick to that CS lead, play it safe? I feel like he can.
Man, every time Someday tries to go into a trade here and leverage his advantage, he either walks a little bit too far forward and doesn't want to overcommit and get a turret shot, or he doesn't actually find the trades that he's looking for. Now it's Ambition could have actually stopped his recall there. Interesting to see why he wouldn't.
Yeah, he's taking it easy, and I think Ambition honestly is... I respect Ambition in the sense that I think he's a smart player. He's very intellectual, and so he started to actually take the mind games advantage in this sense, because every single time Someday would try to dodge out in one of his skill shots, he would call it out and just completely... He would hit him on the transition of his dash. So that's just... It's been happening a lot in this matchup, and I really like what Ambition is doing here. He just needs to catch up and CS. That's all he needs to do.
Alright, so big difference in itemization. Doran's Blade, third one picked up for Ambition, whereas Someday put that extra gold into a Vamp Scepter. So he has Vamp Scepter and all health potions, whereas Ambition went with a Doran's Blade and some mana potions there as well. We'll see how these trades work out. I think Someday will still lose them. There's the ultimate there. Ambition gonna stack up that Blighted Quiver. Does respect the collateral damage for Someday, so he's not going to overcommit.
Oof. I don't agree with Someday's itemizing with the Vamp Scepter, unless if he's... Oh, actually, he's going to be able to try and trade him with him. But yeah, unless if Someday is able to completely avoid the hail of arrows, or at least trade outside of it, then it's gonna be useful. But otherwise, it's not gonna work. I don't understand it.
A very real problem here is that Sumday has actually taken over 75% of Ambition's turret health. And that is a win condition. If you take that turret, you win the game. Collateral damage still up for Sumday too, so he is looking in a great spot. Ambition not able to trade quite as effectively anymore.
Sumday is known for his first bloods though in this tournament. I don't know if he's still running on that 100% first blood counter. I don't remember his last game that we just casted actually, if he actually won through, I mean if he won through any of that. But yeah, he someday will be looking for that first blood. He does have the ability to move for other options, CS, tower, like anything, but he's just gonna go for the first blood maybe.
Whoa, somebody does take a turret shot there. Does have there's a very real 10 CS deficit that will give Sumday the victory if he can find 10 more minions to his name. There's a barrier there, but it doesn't block anything. Ambition's gonna die here. One more auto attack from Sumday, but doesn't get it. Not the barrier Ambition was looking for. Would have saved his life.
God, that reminds me of pre-level 10, I think that you get. I think you get. Well, actually, he's just going over the tower. All right, there we go. And
Wow.
get the kill.
Yeah, he gets the tower, the kill, and the swag teleport at the end. It's Sumday to pick up game number 1 versus Ambition.
That was solid game. I'm a fan. He broke his first blood record. Rest in peace. I'll make a tombstone right now.
Good point. It's gonna be standing over his grave for at least one more game. When we come back, it's do or die, possibly deciding which player will gain that third place finish here in the Solo King. Other player will go home 4th. And of course, right after that, we'll have the best of 3 grand finals of the Solo King. You guys have all been waiting for.
Yeah, and that's between OQ, the protagonist. I'm gonna call him the protagonist. I'm gonna like frame this as a Hollywood movie because it's certainly how it's looking like for him. And who was it? OQ and oh yeah, Game by Mom. Yeah.
All right, well, Ganked by Mom specifically, a guy that a lot of people, I know I was talking to a few experts, and they were like, yeah, Ganked by Mom, he's got a very, very real chance of winning this tournament. And that was actually before he had even played Faker, so a lot of faith in that guy. And of course, we'll get a chance to check out we had a chance to check out the Inven vote that put him 30, or I think it was, 40% above Sumday's vote in that game, in the game they played a little bit earlier. So, a lot of fans behind GBM, and honestly, I'm a big believer in OQ too. But I don't know, his performance in his series did not look quite as strong today as it has traditionally.
I'm gonna ask you a question here, and it's about Gangpai Mom. What do you think? Where do you think the fan following is coming from? Is it the player, or is it the bow tie?
You know, I've just recently started following the LCS Ties Twitter, so I can confirm bow ties do actually make a fairly large difference in settling the score.
See, if I was in the public setting, if I was a coach or anything on stage, I would get a bow tie. I feel like that's an instant fan following. You can get those people back, and we do see a J-Span here.
Actually, I believe. Wait a second. One of the NALCS coaches did wear a bow tie once. I'm trying to think. Wait, was that Hubo when he was coaching? Was it?
I think he had a tie. I'm not sure. We were trying to get him to wear a bow tie.
Yeah, he did wear a regular tie once. Maybe it's just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I have this like very caricatured like chibi Hubo in my head with a bow tie. There's an illustrator out there that can hit me up with that. All the money is gonna be yours. But let's go ahead.
Single one of them.
Yeah, every money in the world. Ambition. locking in Varus. So he's like, hey, if it didn't work in game number 1, we'll switch things up and try it again someday. With game 1 in the bag, has his pick of any AD carry that isn't any of the top 5, which means Sivir.
Yeah, and Graves is out of the picture, so I'm not sure what he's gonna. Oh, there we go, Lulu.
Okay, yeah. Lulu, a champion that he has, played competitively before, up in the top lane, even though he is much more popular mid. Although I say that, it's not a very popular champion anymore, but it used to be.
It's coming back. It's seeing its days now as a flex pick. So now people do love the Lulu, and it has some pretty decent matchups, especially against LeBlanc. So competitive is coming back, and I guess in this specific Solo King tournament, it's looking hot.
Yeah, I believe we actually saw Lulu played as a jungle pick in the LJL yesterday.
Oh my God,
it was actually
serious?
picked up. It was played by Seventh Heaven's jungler Yoshiaki. Played jungle Lulu. He went AP CDR max on Lulu, and at 15 minutes he had 40% CDR and was just running between the lanes, ulting his teammates. So it was a little bit interesting.
Hilarious.
Yeah, the first time I saw jungle Lulu was I think Shorter Ace ran it in the North American LCS expansion tournament and was not very successful, but yesterday
I
the first
guess I missed
victory for
that.
jungle.
Oh my goodness! I knew I missed a few Final 5 games in that expansion tournament, and for whatever reason, I guess one of them was a Lulu jungle game. Jeez, how did I? I'm sad. I'm a sad person.
But speaking of Lulus, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're looking for runes and masteries. I believe that is armor, attack speed, and 26 health. I think that is flat HP. So now now we're looking at the masteries. It's actually a hybrid mastery page, so points in AD and ability power.
Okay.
So
I
it's
want to see a
9.
Rage Blade this game. Of course, that's going to take a hell of a long time to get that kind of gold, but
I mean, we
that's what
have
I'm
had a lot of
looking for.
gold in some of our games, and we're looking at this rune page. This is HP, magic penetration, and armor. So.
Okay, that's pretty solid. That's pretty standard.
Or is it AP? I think that might have been actually AP.
Wait a
Magic
minute.
penetration and armor. Yeah, okay, so that was actually 26 points of AP from blues and quintessences. I thought that was HP. But yeah, it is going to be a lot of damage though, so this will be coming out of the gates as a very high damage Lulu. You got to keep an eye on that magic penetration. It's not a stat that you can really see, but it's definitely one you can feel early on. That's going to
I know I like the diversity in the rune page and masters because obviously we're not going to be getting that kind of diversity in the itemizing here. But yeah, we've seen quite a few. Some people go into mana regen in the what's it called, one of the branches in the mastery pages. Jeez, names do not work for me. In my own little world where QER, yeah, that's just QWER is just like a natural thing to say.
See, I'm not quite in that world quite yet. I gave up playing Game Boy games a long time ago. So actually, that's WASD, or at least that's what I always mapped the keys to when I was playing them on my completely legal emulator at the time.
See, I think I still have a Game Boy Color with me. It's somewhere in this house. I'm not sure where, but I love it up until I drop it, because then for whatever reason, if I drop it on the ground, I just like lose the memory for whatever game I was playing. That's
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
I've done that with Pokemon Yellow.
Oh
I've gotten
no,
to
that's the
straight-
worst.
Right into Victory Road, I drop it, I'm like, alright, straight from the beginning. I'm like, really? Alright, I'm just gonna play an emulator now.
That is very difficult to deal with. I remember I used to have problems with my batteries running out for the save states. But let's go ahead and get into the game. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Solo King here on Azubu TV. Game number 2 between Ambition and ssumday. This is the 3rd and 4th place match, so winner of this game will achieve 3rd place as their final standing in this tournament. It's been a long tournament. It's come down to the 4 best players getting the 4 best spots, and it's Ambition and ssumday fighting for 3rd.
Yeah, and interesting point is you're gonna be thinking, oh wow, these are the 4 best players in Korea, since of course they went through this massive Solo King tournament. And guess what? We may not have a Faker, but we do have Faker Killer and Gank by Mom. That's gonna be later on for the night here. I do like the differences in summoner abilities. We have Barrier coming out of Varus, and at the same time Ignite coming out of Lulu. Ignite's not gonna look so hot up going up against a Barrier. Not sure how that's gonna work out here.
Yeah, you usually go for Ignite if you're expecting a heal on the other side, because then it not only limits the effectiveness of that heal, but it burns through it. Still kind of a rough evenness between the skills, but at the same time, I actually looked over and saw Shu, our intrepid placeholder champion, Teemo's Clarity, or I think that's Cleanse and Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Not the summoner spells you're looking for. I wonder if there's any situation where you'd bring a Cleanse mid lane. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I know you'd see. I would love to see someone go Flash Ghost in the lane, because specifically against Cassiopeia, because I want to see someone try to dance around those those poison shots. Yeah.
He's like running circles around her. Oh, Ambition going in for a big couple auto attack trades, and ssumday, you know, playing lane Lulu, you have so many options. You can defensive options. You can protect yourself, giant growth, help picks. But you also have a lot of aggressive options. You just don't have quite as many as a very aggressive focused champion like Victor. Oh my gosh, you can already see Hail of Arrows damage really starting to hit home.
Yeah, Halo arrows are doing so much damage, but actually Lulu's auto attack trades are really solid here. Like, he's actually able to bully Ambition away just from the pressure of that alone.
You've also seen, I guess, quite a few Glitter Lances continue to land. So there's health picks down onto Ambition. Gonna land it through, and yeah, it doesn't quite last long enough to hit 2 Glitter Lances yet.
So I feel like ssumday gets the advantage in this trade, because especially once you get to level 6, because Lulu's a beast at that point, a monster. But for now, I feel like ssumday still has autos, but Ambition has bursts, because like once he gets the Hail of Arrows on you, you really gotta retreat.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize Hail of Arrows actually has a fairly decent ratio, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Hail hitting for 0.6 scaling, and it gets 40 AD every time you level it up, so not the weak skill by any means.
I remember when Varus came out, not only did Varus have the superior walking animation, I want that coming back, but I also like Hail Arrows. People actually maxed that one first because it was better. I think it was the base damage. I'm not too sure if it was if they hit the base damage or the scaling, but it was a really solid ability up until now. Now it's just basically for the utility, but it still does quite a bit.
Well, see how much it can do. Looking for more wave shove. First time I ever saw a Lulu support was right after I came back to watching a lot of League. I was in the MLG Summer Invitational when Azubu Blaze actually used to play Graves Lulu and just shove waves over and over again. And it's kind of the same situation here. ssumday is just looking to shove these waves in, poking through with Glitter Lances, and oh, Ambition. Swing and a miss.
Well, at least he has quite a bit of mana to work off of. ssumday's running out, but he does have... Oh, he has 1 Doran's Ring, so he doesn't have TP either, so he's just gonna have to hold off from trying to bully with his Q.
At the end of the day, it's actually a fairly even situation here. Of course, deficit in the sustain as far as overall potions go for ssumday. But Ambition now actually dropping down a little bit in HP. And of course, he's losing out on this wave clear. Ssumday is just shoving this entire wave under turret, and it'd be difficult to see if Ambition can actually pick up any of these minions.
Yeah, he's gonna be struggling. Yeah, oh god. The speed of those abilities are not helping him out here. If Ssumday sticks to the strategy of just like pushing under tower, which he can do, it's not looking good for Ambition. He's already 10 CS behind.
Yeah, and some days even has a mana potion in his inventory. He's gonna have more glitter lances than Ambition really knows what to do with, and gonna fall further and further behind as that turret continues to rack up these minion kills.
He's harassing him under tower really well as well, so Ambition is chugging through the last of his potions. Oh, he's looking for an all-in.
Not going to find it. Ambition drops down below 200 HP, almost 100 HP down there. Ssumday does not have flash or anything crazy to force a fight at this point, but oh man, Ambition certainly playing with fire here. If Ssumday gets that help picks on, it's a glitter lance to follow.
Oh my god. How greedy is Ambition gonna be? Because he has to be greedy. He needs to be able to take some risk because he's losing out on CS significant. He's about to fall 20 CS behind. Like, this game, he needs to end it before they get to that 100 CS point.
Well, I mean, they're definitely trying to. Ambition losing out on that early all-in, and, you know, Ssumday, it's not even just about, you know, killing or being killed. He's pushing in for what is continuing to grow a huge CS lead. Oh, but there's the ultimate from Ambition. Not gonna survive very much longer. Ssumday picks up a 2-0 here over Ambition. We're gonna get a quick instant replay on your screen of this 1v1. And Ambition, he kind of knows his time is running out. Looks for the ultimate. Will hit it, but at that point, yeah, there's just not a whole lot left afterwards. He's gonna die to auto attacks while Ssumday is just coming out of it. Like I said, 2-0, Ssumday takes out Ambition and claims 3rd place in the Solo King.
Oh man. Yeah, that was amazing. That was just a domination from Ssumday. Ssumday knows his Lulu. And maybe that's just a bad thing coming out of Ambition because there's not a lot of jungle champions he can pick up that would work in that matchup. So he was always in the back foot trying to play 80 carries that I felt like he didn't have much comfort on, but it is what it is. Ssumday comes out 3rd place.
All right, that will be our 3rd and 4th place matchup, which means it's almost time for our grand finals of the Solo King. It'll be Ganked by Mom versus OQ, and what better way could you possibly think to end a solo 1v1 tournament? You know, maybe Faker in there, but better than Faker, we got Ganked by Mom, who, it feels strange to say, but, you know, knocked Faker out of this tournament, and it wasn't even close. Both of the games were objective controlled wins for Ganked by Mom. He just played the better lane phase. One time he took Faker's turret, and the next time he won on CS, so it's,
Yeah, we got Ganked by Mom, the God Killer, versus the kid himself.
we'll have that grand finals matchup coming up next, so stick around.
Child in Valorant has heard the tale before about the cursed mommy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Azubu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. confirm what was Amumu's biggest fear. It pledged that never shall someone become his friend. It pledged that he shall be alone until his end. Sorrow and despair became too much to bear. The moment when Amumu realized what he had done, too late it was for him, for them, the evil curse had won. The anger and the anguish overwhelmed his fragile soul and caused a wicked tantrum that he never could control.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Solo King 1v1 tournament here on Azubu TV. My name is Rapid, with me is Raz, and it's all come down to this, the grand finals of the Solo King between OQ and Ganked by Mom.
Oh yeah, all you people out there, just close your eyes and visualize those fireworks coming out. Gank by Mom, OQ, it's time, baby. It's time for that final. And is that a Mordekaiser?
Are you serious? A
All right.
Mordekaiser.
Alright, Gank by Mom's looking
All
for
right.
that CS.
Now keep in mind this is the reworked Mordekaiser. It's not the old one.
Oh,
So there have
okay.
been some recent changes to Mordekaiser that have really changed the way that a lot of parts of his kit work. For the longest time, Mord was more of a you shoved the wave in, and it was always a little bit more of an ability skill path based more on Siphon of Destruction than Mace of Spades. But now Mace of Spades actually adds 75 attack range to your mace, so you can actually hit somebody from pretty far away. The big change, unfortunately, was that Children of the Grave, his ultimate, did get an overall nerf, but the nerf was mostly to the ghost itself, which means that you would still have killed your opponent, so that may not necessarily come quite as much into play.
Yep, so it looks like just a general buff for the Solo King tournament itself, just for the 1v1. I'm not sure what we have to expect here. It is a Callista versus Mordekaiser, and I'm trying to figure out which one wins out that mashup, and I just feel like Mordekaiser dominates.
Well, see, the thing about Callista is that it's a very bold statement to make when you pick Callista, because you're essentially saying that you can beat your opponent using half the number of moves. Because,
right.
Callista's W does not work. I mean, you can get it to summon a Banshee, which, would give your opponent a CS, so you don't want to do that, and there's no Soul Bond, so you actually don't have another champion to stack up that bonus damage with, and you don't have another champion for your ultimate either, so not really a very, diverse kit. The upside of picking Callista is that it turns out that Pierce and Rend are both incredibly strong spells when it comes to last hitting and harass, and Martial Cadence is kind of like a spell in itself. Gives you so much mobility could make it very difficult to counter out.
Yeah, you really have to value that mobility on him. I'm not sure so much how it's gonna work in this matchup specifically, but like Mordekaiser still has a pretty short range, so you can go in and out hopefully, weaving in your damage. We're getting in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into game number 1 of our grand final matchup. Oh, that ominous gong to start off the grand
Oh my
finals
God.
of the Solo King. OQ versus Ganked by Mom. So thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Rapid. With me is Raz. We're getting into, I gotta say, like you said, the Mordekaiser pick, not something I would have expected. The Lord of Mord coming into the mid lane versus OQ's AD carry source. And this time it's Callista.
He's coming in to that matchup automatically with a cloth 5 potions, so it's pretty standard, it's pretty good. It's really good for this matchup specifically. I guess he picked it into it because it is, yeah, it's, they do see these picks, so it's a good counter, I would say.
And one thing to talk about is that when Pierce hits you, it actually does deal physical damage, but I believe Rend actually does magic damage. No, that is actually physical damage. All right, so it's all physical damage. I actually thought that it was magic damage, so maybe I'm mistaken on that. So
See, that's what I thought too, but I didn't look too much into the numbers for that one.
okay, so at least it's not just me. But so either way, all physical. So it's cloth armor, great item pickup. Problem is, what do you build cloth armor into? I feel like if Gank by Mom comes back to lane with like a Seeker's Arm Guard, that's actually I guess a fairly accessible item. The problem with picking Mordekaiser is that you can't buy Doran's items.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a Doran's shield wouldn't be a terrible buy here, but it's not going to kill the other guy, so
He needs
little bit
AP, and it's just gonna it's gonna get really awkward really fast once he starts trying to figure out an item build here.
I can see a Seeker's Arm Guard as like a feasible item to get eventually, but it's not going to give him any HP, which the Doran's Blades from OQ are really going to have a big effect in.
See, already he's starting to loot out. Alright, I like the Mordekaiser pick because he can just constantly push out, but it's gonna be hard to push out when every ability he puts out just like decreases his own health, and at the same time, he's not gonna actually have an item to constantly build. Or like with the ease of a Doran's. So, alright. Might not have been the best choice.
Yeah, and so keep in mind, Siphon of Destruction actually costs 25 HP at at rank 1. Of course, it actually gets higher health cost as you skill up your abilities, so makes it even that much more difficult to use. So GBM goes ahead and hits Mace of Spades as his second ability. No questions asked there. And of course, it's Rend and Pierce, the 2 skills for OQ.
Alright, so he's getting down that harass at least, and he's starting to build up that shield, so we're starting to see the high points of this matchup. I'm kind of like iffy on him, kind of flip-flopping, because at first I liked it, but now I'm actually seeing the details in this matchup, and it's not looking so good for Yank by Mom.
Yeah, it's a Flask Potion start for OQs, so even though he is taking a lot of this harass, that is one of the big sort of leverage points for Mordekaiser, is that when he gets into lane, you can actually just out-sustain the other person because you're putting out damage and healing it right back off. Although, right as you say that, GBM, he's run through all of his potions, but so is OQ, and Gank by Mom comes out ahead, and he's still hitting those Siphons of Destruction.
Yeah, alright, so I guess he's not going to be able to really back away from that damage. The range on Gank by Mom's spells are a lot farther than I thought it would be. This is hurting. This is hurting OQ pretty hard.
The Mace of Spades specifically, it's not just a 75 range increase on your auto attacks. Actually, essentially increases the range of the entire spell by 75% since you can hit it from that much farther away. So, Siphon Destruction specifically, the one that is being maxed and is the one doing most of the damage. Recall back to base, and it is the components for a Seeker's Arm Guard being built here by Gank by Mom.
Do you think he'll finish the Seeker's Arm Guard, or do you think he's just gonna keep building?
Well, it's a great
Yeah,
lane
fine.
phase item because it actually stacks up more armor the more you, or more armor and AP when you stack it up on minion kills in lanes. So it'd be a great
That's
item
true.
to buy.
I would actually see him going Spell Vamp. I don't know. I don't remember the item name, but
Hextech Revolver, I believe.
yeah.
I
I
guess
guess
that,
that can work.
yeah, that could be an option.
Mhm.
Depends on whether he wants to go a little bit more aggressive and sustaining, which I guess sustain is a very highly prized statistic in just the 1v1 lane phase. Only problem is that, with the exception of his ultimate, every single one of Mordekaiser's spells, oh my god, look at that wave clear.
That was insane, yeah.
Every
Oh my
single one
God.
of Mordekaiser's spells is AoE, so you actually get 1/3 the benefit from that. Oh my goodness, he hit a single target Mace of Spades, which actually does way more damage than if you hit it on multiple targets.
Mm.
I believe it is single target magic damage is a 0.66 AP ratio, whereas it's only 0.4 if you hit it on AoE.
Oh damn! I did not know. You know so much about these. Like, I would say, oddball champions, but just about every champion. That in itself, I did not. Well, he just got all
Oh,
these.
this is actually really cool. He's using the ultimate just for sustain, because it actually does return back. Gosh, I'm trying to remember exactly how much health it gives you back. Cannot do that, but I'll figure it out. I believe it's 15% of his total health coming back at him, and of course he'll also get that regenerating shield from the best passive name in the game, Raz. It's Iron Man.
Okay, that is pretty solid.
So solid, it's made of iron. Now we've got a little bit of a difficulty here for GBM because he's finally run out of potions. And it's still costing himself. Oh man, he actually missed the Siphon of Destruction there.
I guess he wasn't aiming for the minion wave, so.
I think, yeah, he was aiming on OQ. But he was just barely out of range. OQ finally figuring out exactly how far he has to distance himself from the wave.
I was
and
just about to say, if
I think
OQ went in for
GBM's
that.
dead here.
He has flash.
Yeah, but what good is that going to do? I'd almost rather see Barrier, but I think he's thinking aggressively.
You could flash in, maybe, possibly. Nah, he's not gonna go in for that one. All right, so okay. He wants to play this a little safe.
It is the sustain from that Hextech Revolver, so not often that we see mid-tier items actually being completed, but for Mordekaiser, that is the option. It's going to give him a little bit more sustain, but it does limit his health potion. I think he only picked up like 1 health potion off of that. I can't quite see the number on it.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I can't read it either.
It's either 1 or 4, and if it's 4, then he's golden. But if it is only 1, then that would be a big difficulty as far as sustain disadvantage, because he's coming up against a guy that's buying full consumables and crystalline flask, as well as triple Doran's blades.
Yeah, I hate to sound like a broken record, but the Mordekaiser pick is just seeming so awkward right now. Just because after this point, what is he gonna get? Is he gonna get Seeker's Arm Guard next? Like he's forced to build these these second tier items because he's not gonna be able to stack any of the Doran's. Like Doran Shield maybe, but that's not unique.
And the other
I mean,
problem
that is
is, GBM. I say DBM, but GBM actually, with that back, kind of committed to killing OQ as his win condition, because there's no way that he's ever going to be able to catch up in CS at this point. And one of the best facets of picking an AD carry is your ability to just play the safe game, go for the CS, and if GBM can't force a kill here, OQ is just going to win the easy way.
And now Gank by Mom's really set on forcing these trades. He needs to force these trades. If he doesn't get them, then he can't do anything. Like he's set to lose out because he's already 20 CS behind. It's too massive of an advantage. And he at an 8 right now, OQ has 80 CS. Like it's not gonna take long for him to get to that 100 point.
Yeah, and so GBM is actually going to have to make these like crazy aggressive plays to try to pick him off. I'm not sure if that means flashing on him a little bit earlier. He's going to try to get in there, going to get that single target Mace of Spades we were talking about. Look at that damage, going to need an ultimate. He pops him with the rend. And OQ takes down GBM. I don't even think Gank by Mom ulted there in that situation. Just kind of died to the rend. I'm keeping an eye on Gank by Mom's ultimate. I don't think he's respecting the number of spears, and yeah, pop goes the Weasel and the Mordekaiser. It's OQ taking down game number 1 over Gank by Mom.
Well. I guess we're gonna have to look for a game number 2. He's definitely not gonna go in for that Mordekaiser anymore. It was a decent pick in, like, with the first top. Like, you just look through your champions and you see a Mordekaiser and you're like, oh, that'll work. And you realize itemizing's difficult, and that's just the biggest factor in that matchup. If you can't itemize, you can't like build gold efficient items, then you are not in a good spot. It's really bad for you.
One of the things I would have liked to see is maybe Doran's Blades picked up, and while it doesn't work very well on Siphon of Destruction, Mace of Spades and your ultimate both actually have a, well, the ult doesn't scale off of AD, but it does help out as far as your clones, so...
That's fair. Like, Doran's Blade actually would have been the better one. Even just going for the Doran's Ring and just kind of like saying, you know what, this is not going to be efficient, but I'm still going to do the damage regardless.
Well, let's go ahead and get into game number 2. We'll get that up on your screen here already. Gank by Mom versus OQ. Getting into the ban phase here, and first off the bat, it's a Callista ban, so GBM not willing to deal with that anymore.
Yeah, he's taking out these long-range AD carries. We got Callista, we got Caitlyn, and Kog'Maw. In turn, OQ does not want to deal with any of those mid laners that Gank by Mom might send out. Either be a Cassiopeia or Lulu, and I'm really expecting...
I'd say Kale, Graves also available too, as far as AD carries go.
Even maybe Victor. I think Victor would be pretty...
Wait, what?
Mordekaiser?
He seriously banned the Mord here. Oh, man.
Ooh.
Here we go. We're going for the salty run back. It's Graves versus the Urgod, OQ himself. All right, well, he's...
This pick to work.
He busted out Urgot, I think, once over the course of the group stage, just once in the round of 6, and you're like, all right, it's, maybe a pocket pick. But I think you've seen him pick it like 3 times today.
Yeah.
I always knew Urgot was like one of the best champions out there, but not really.
Right, this is my point of reference every single time. I'm like, why are you picking Urgot? I'm like, hey, OQ picks it. He loves that champion. I can just say that.
Just be like, don't worry, I saw a Korean player do it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Or OQ, depending on which letter you want to go with. But game number 2 coming up. If OQ wins this, he is your solo king. So game point on the line. The most exciting situation would come down to if we actually got a game number 3. It would be a game 3 blind pick to determine which one of these players who are your contestants for the solo king thinks the strongest 1v1 champion is. Like, that would just be such a good illustration. Maybe not just their champion pools, but who they think actually is the solo king as far as champions go.
See, I want to see that because I feel like then you can't get that Cassiopeia ban, and you'll see Gank by Mom on Cassio, and you'll see probably Urgot coming out of OQ.
You'd see
and I just want
Urgot
to see
as
that
Fortune,
matchup.
or maybe Caitlyn, because we talked about how Caitlyn is sort of the end-all be-all of 1v1 champions, or at least
that's true.
one of the highest tiered picks over the course of this entire tournament. But Cassiopeia, we've also seen that be kind of the go-to during the one blind pick game that we have had. So it's gonna be up to Gank by Mom. The pressure is on.
Yeah, I do remember in All Stars a long time ago. I don't remember actually. I don't know if it was season 3, season 2, but when they had that 1v1 tournament that was going on.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was Caitlyn. That was the name of the game, and that's how Toys won the tournament, was through his Caitlyn pick. I don't remember who he beat.
I believe it was actually I remember Messiah playing Caitlyn, and
it was Messiah.
He ran Smite on Caitlyn too, so he could make sure to get more CS out of the lane. So if he was about to miss a CS, He was just all-inning on the passive 100 CS market. That was actually just the straight-up 100 CS, so there was no 10 CS advantage you had to add. If you hit 100, you won the game, so Smite in that case, I guess one way to go.
Yeah, and I love that, just because you all in on that objective, all in that goal, so you just kept hitting that, smacking that tower for what it was. You smack the tower, you smack the CS, you keep building on whatever. If they wanna try and scrap you, you say nope and you walk out of there. You jet out there with your net.
All
Is
right.
it 40 caliber net?
90 caliber net, actually.
90, oh
50
god.
short
not
on
even
your
close.
calibers. I do want
Not
to
even
make
close.
a quick mention to the charity that the Solo King is supporting. If you scroll right down below the screen, it is Extra Life. It actually supports children's hospitals across the nation. So if you want more information, you can click on the Extra Life link. There's a donation link right down below the stream too. Wanted to throw out a quick mention of that, as this is or could be one of the last games of the tournament. So if you feel so inclined, we could really appreciate your donations there. It's right down below the stream. It helps out a good cause, and of course, all while you're supporting esports as well. So you guys are actually secretly heroes of esports. And why, you might ask? Because you're watching this show. So do appreciate everybody tuning in tonight to, like I said, what could be the last game of the Solo King.
Yeah, I'm ready for this one. I feel like I just have to give it up to OQ. I know that Gank My Mom has come through this the strongest he's ever been, the God Killer himself, taking down Faker in a 2-0 set. So Gank My Mom has all the momentum coming in this, but you know who the underdog is? It's the kid himself, OQ.
It's him. It's the Urgot as well, coming out versus Graves, who, in the absence of Caitlyn, has been shown to be one of the best, if not the best, AD carry out there, like I said, apart from Caitlyn. So it'll be interesting to see if Gank by Mom can sort of bring in his AD carry versus sort of the new AD carry in Urgot. Let's go ahead and get into game number 2. Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Solo King Grand Finals between Ganked by Mom and OQ. My name is Rapid, with me is Raz, and it's Urgot versus Graves.
Whew. Look at those legs on that beast. At least this time, Graves has a pair of his own to not so much even out the matchup, but to even come close.
Well, you saw that leg, and I guess Urgot, gets extra value out of leg day. It's twice the workout most people do. Although his legs are robotic, so I'm not sure that actually counts. Either way, we did see that discrepancy in the Urgot versus Cassiopeia matchup versus Ambition. But this time around, like you said, Graves, he's got his own 2 legs to stand on. Maybe looking for a little bit of an interesting strat here. I'd love to know exactly what it is that they're saying in chat.
Oh my god, yeah, if we had a Korean expert here, if we had someone who knew the Korean language, that would be beautiful. But
Where's Benunu or Lil Suzy when you need them?
I know, right?
Either way, I'm gonna have to do my best totally fake Korean translation, and assume that they're saying like GTFO out of lane, noob. Or
Get out of here, you're nobody.
yeah, exactly. WTF Urgot? Why you troll? I don't know. To be fair though, OQ has won his Urgot game that actually got him to this point in the tournament, so gotta give him at least some credit to that. Now, once again, OQ staying in lane to go for the early pushing power on the wave, whereas Gank by Mom actually stayed in base and got that extra potion in his inventory before coming into lane. I actually like the extra potion. 150 HP is actually pretty significant.
It is, and it's so far been the proven strategy. It feels like whoever's been trying to get the extra push in the lane hasn't worked out for them. But it looks like, yeah, Urgot's trying to get that damage up, but he still loses out in the overall trade.
Yeah, that's the thing about having that extra potion. That means that you can lose your trades up to 150 HP and still have it be even overall. Which is it's pretty strong strategy if you... Oh man, those Acid Hunters hitting way beneath
See, the hard part about those acid hunters is you just don't know the range of that one. So it's the champions you don't know or don't play against that are the strongest. It's like, how does this champion work? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, I mean, what does Urgot do? I don't know. Well, to answer your question, the natural range of acid hunters is actually only 1,000. I say only 1,000. That's pretty long range. But if you lock on, it's up to 1,200 range with an acid hunter. So
Really? Okay.
great
okay.
dodge there by Gank by Mom. He actually completely avoided that acid hunter, and because the Noxian Corrosive Charge hit onto the minion wave, when OQ tried to use an acid hunter on GBM, he actually couldn't hit him with it because it locked onto a minion.
Oh, okay. That's what you call that micro play.
Yeah, and speaking of microplay, GBM using these minions in lane, just even individual minions to just kite around to make sure that he is immune to those acid hunters, and essentially cut OQ's damage in half.
And he's lost this, like, Oku's lost to this matchup before, I'm fairly certain. Like, that was actually the one Urgot game that he lost was to Graves. I feel like that's a thing. I'm not so sure. I can't, now I've lost confidence saying. Was it the Graves matchup, or was it the Cassiopeia matchup that he
No,
lost?
Cassiopeia was his last matchup that he actually won
Okay, okay.
versus Ambition, so...
Mhm.
Coming in
So
again,
was the Graves.
TP to lane, and OQ shouldn't miss any of the CS here, so...
Yeah, he's gonna be able
I'm
to
like
CS that perfectly.
waiting with bated breath. It's like every single CS matters here in the Solo King. And if you notice the wards being placed down right there, that is by our spectators, players. They place those down, and of course, if turrets fall off to the side lanes, you actually have to place down a pink ward to negate the 100 gold advantage. So just a small thing. If you see the players buy and place a pink ward, it's to get rid of that turret gold, so it doesn't affect the matchup.
Okay, that's smart. I was wondering how that would work out.
Oh, hitting with the lock on there. Those acid hunters behind the turret. Only one Doran's blade apiece, but OQ's still gonna hit pretty hard, winning that matchup. It's not even like winning a trade. You don't really trade with the Noxian Corrosive Charge. You just take the damage.
Yep. And he's applying those auto attacks constantly, so like Gank by Mom just simply cannot trade back.
Yeah, he lost that trade really, really hard. Keep in mind, OQ is ahead one game. So if he wins this, he is the Solo King.
Oh baby, this is what he was like looking for a while now. He gets to win on his Urgot if he does win this game.
Oh man, like how demeaning is that? Like you beat the guy with Urgot.
Yeah.
I mean, Urgot is getting a what is it? Is it texture rework? Yeah, I think he's getting a texture rework. And I remember on the forums, people were just like begging for them not to make Urgot look pretty. It's like, we don't want like an epic, cool, metallic Urgot. We want him to look absolutely as ugly as all get out. Which is, I feel like is fairly consistent with what Urgot is supposed to be.
See, yeah, I can understand that. I want to see him as ugly as possible. I do. I don't want no like mecha champion.
You know what I want them to keep is the in the giant enemy Crab God skin in the splash art. He's like stolen somebody's girlfriend. He's like throwing them over his shoulder. And he's like running away with them. Like how terrifying is that? I'm just sad that didn't make it into the skin.
Yeah, oh my god, that would be that was so good.
I would play that every single game. It's like
that would be the greatest skin of all time.
Literally Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Yeah. As you're farming up, you just see him like you just see her squirming on top of his shoulders. That'd be like, oh my goodness.
Haul it away. That would be absolutely terrible. So I guess you got to give at least some credit to Riot's skin department for denying suggestions like that.
Yep.
It's like Riot Bacon Hawk hard at work in QA determining what does and doesn't make it through, and I'm having a feeling that might have been one of the ideas.
See, I would probably get fired off the squad immediately with my horrible suggestions. I'd be like,
or you'd be the best member of the squad.
Hey, there we go. There we go. I like that.
Alright, so recall's back for Gank by Mom, does not have teleport up, and actually might have thought that OQ was recalling, as he did walk into that brush.
Hmm.
But OQ gonna stay in lane, yeah. Oh, triple Doran's blades and consumables on top of that. That is going to be difficult to deal with. One benefit that OQ could do is just stay at lane until his TP's up and then go back to base, but I think he's going to leave this lane. I think it's completely frozen, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3 versus 3 minions. Might be pushing slightly towards GBM, but it's not going to be a real consequential difference. And if you look at the CS, it's an over 10 CS lead for OQ, so GBM kind of under the gun, quite literally.
Yeah, you know what would be smart? Not smart, I guess, is that's not the word I want to use here. But creative is if Gank by Mom ulted the wave to be able to get it to push to the tower as fast as possible. That'd be nice. That'd be nice to see. It's like something out of the box so you can cover up that CS advantage.
Oh, there's actually Terra Capacitor being used to slow down GBM. Took those full 3 Acid Hunters. I think you need like, I think it's 15 to 20% CDR to get 4 Acid Hunters off over the duration. But, ooh.
Oh man, he's farming under the turret rather well as compared to his last game. But I guess he has 3 Doran's blades, it's a little easier.
Yeah, that is true. The ability to buy Doran's blades, a skill to have in 1v1s. Oh, dash in, there's a nice ultimate. Gonna give him that extra armor, magic resistance. I guess he doesn't need that. Smoke bomb magic damage. There's collateral damage onto Urgot, but it just makes it an even trade there. 1 ult for 1.
Didn't do as much of a pop as I thought it would. Oh my god, what's happening here?
Oh, GBM's just dead here, even with the minions. Oh my gosh! Who got the first blood?
Urgot got it!
Are you serious? Oh my god, I gotta watch this again. What on earth? That is the closest first blood I have ever seen. He misses the Noxian Corrosive Charge. Now watch this. GBM's gonna take an Acid Hunter here, I believe. And he actually, I think GBM won. No, Graves got the first blood. Oh my god. Ganked by Mom gets first blood in the closest 1v1 I have. I don't think there's been a closer 1v1.
And the thing about that was, Gank by Mom hit level 8 that exact moment during that trade. So he, like, if he hadn't gotten the level off of that, that would have been out. That would have been on the side of OQ. That would have been.
That is a little ridiculous. Oh my god. Well, you asked for it. The grand finals of the Solo King is going all the way to a blind pick game number 3. So if you had any question which player was the Solo King or which champion, your questions are going to be answered, and it doesn't get much closer than that.
It really, really doesn't. Like, I don't. That was a photo finish right there. They had to. I can't believe that it was so, like, not even the client itself got it correctly, in the sense that, like, it showed Urgot's kill on the side of the screen first. But
you know, I think there was actually, I think there was a 1v1 tournament previously. It might have been either Lee Sin or Riven, one of the previous 1v1 tournaments.
Yeah.
Where they had a discrepancy where the game actually showed that one player got the first blood, but the opposite player got 400 gold instead of 300.
Wow, okay.
I can't remember exactly who that was or what tournament it was, but I recall that happening, so some crazy things possible, but GBM did win that 1v1 under closer inspection, but just narrowly hitting that level up, just, incredible way to take us into our last game of the night, and it's a blind pick.
Well, I'm ready. I know I am. We're definitely going to see the Cassiopeia, in my opinion. We're going to see Cassiopeia. Jeez, what? I don't even understand. I don't know what he's going to play. OQ. I think OQ might go back to the Urgot pick.
You know, Urgot's been kind of his go-to, but at the same time, he has to keep in mind, like, where are his roots? He's an AD carry at heart, and when all the AD carries are up, you gotta expect him to go for one of those. Caitlyn seems to, at least to me, to be on the top of the list just because you can have so many abusive play styles, either just going for the straight-up farm game, you can also get like crazy harass down that just isn't possible for other champions, so I want to see it, but...
Yeah, the Caitlyn pick would do really well. You could see the end of the tournament by Caitlyn.
I don't know. See, the Caitlyn versus Caitlyn matchup, too, can be...
oh my god.
Somewhat long.
That would be beautiful. Yeah. Well, not really. It would be a massive resident sleeper. I'm not gonna lie to you there, but that would still be an hilarious in concept. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we hit like the 200 CS mark and it's still deadly even. Both AD carries have like infinity edges and they're just like, you know, critting each other down.
It's like, we got this minion here. Yeah, I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let a single count die.
Man, yeah. So hopefully we don't see that. Maybe there's more aggressive picks out there, because when it comes down to it, this is the best 1v1 champion in the game. We're about to see it. Is it Diana?
It can't. That's not.
No,
gonna happen.
it is.
That laning phase is too bad. I'm
not
sorry.
Diana. I am. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It is. We're gonna be seeing something different from me. GBM throwing out a throwback. I believe we actually did see a Diana recently played in LPL, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
I want to say that is it either Pawn or Dade that decided to play that?
It was a Wayless actually. Wayless.
Oh yeah, it
picked
was
up.
Wayless. That's right.
Yeah, it was doing all right. It was doing okay up until the enemy jungler got a pentakill.
Yeah, and the pentakill came in at like what was it, 12 minutes, 15 minutes? It was ridiculous.
It was so early in the game. It was disgusting.
And it's a jungler too. Like, how often do you see junglers get pentakills?
Really, really rare. And he just picked up a Warmogs after that point. He was like, all right, I'm not dying.
Never dying again. But I digress. Pentakills and Diana picks aside, it does look like it is going. Oh no.
No.
He's switching. 20 seconds left on the pick phase.
He's really considering it.
GBM's going to kill
Please.
OQ with his own Urgot pick? How much revenge is that? He's like, you just beat me with Urgot, now it's my turn.
No way.
No, they're gonna do Urgot versus Urgot.
Are you kidding me?
No way. Oh, he changes
God
the
damn you,
My
Mom.
No.
I hate
GBM.
No.
Why? It was so beautiful.
It was art, and then he ruined it.
He just like took the can of paint. He's like painting this Mona Lisa. He just throws the can of paint on the canvas and walks away.
Right as he was just finishing the smile, the small grin.
Nope. Now there's just paint all over it. You ruined it, GBM. We had the potential for Urgot versus Urgot, but it is going to be that Urgot versus Graves. Like I said, the salty run back. They're running it again. Not satisfied with that last game result.
Yep, they're basically calling out OQ on his Urgot pick at that point. Getting the Graves pick to counteract him.
Oh my god. Well, GBM won that matchup previously. He's like, hey, I did it once, we can do it again.
Yep. And it's really funny because I feel like this is the manliest matchup. We got the Graves here, of course, it speaks for itself, and we have Urgot, like the god himself. I don't think anyone's manlier than the man with 4 legs.
That's true. He is 50% more man in the leg department. Your leg day will never quite be as good as his. But
I'm not sure. Here's the issue here. I'm not sure how PG this is, but he has 4 legs. So how many privates does he have?
you know, I'm thinking when they built the Urgot's model, they might have overlooked that and just gone for things like, you know, Noxie and corrosive charges. And I'm sure you have to put those somewhere or another. But
all right, that's fair. That's fair. You gotta keep it efficient. Got the.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, this is going to be the last game of the tournament, and I wonder if we're actually going to get a chance to see Runes and Masteries here. I can't imagine that we have too much time until the game starts, because with games like this, I don't know, I could not be more excited for this. We've seen Game 1 go to OQ, Game 1 go to, I believe it was GBM, and OQ bringing it back with the, no, it was Game 1 OQ, that's right, I was right the first time. Game 2, GBM, bringing it back with the Graves pick, and game number 3, a rematch of the closest game in this entire tournament, and what better place to have it?
See, here's the real question: is that I'm not so sure. I feel like OQ. I don't know if OQ is picking Urgot because he feels like he's a superior champion, or if he's picking it because he just wants to be able to say that he won the tournament with Urgot.
Well, I mean, sometimes you gotta go big or go home, and while there may be better champions, he's saying, look, I have to go for the most victory. It's not just about victory, it's the most victory. Of course, Urgot, definitely capable of giving you that.
Yeah. trying to figure out another champion. Oh, maybe Teemo. No, Teemo's horrible.
I was gonna
can't
say,
even-
like, how do you win a 1v1 with Teemo?
Yeah.
You stack up
Trying to
those
think.
Doran's rings and then die instantly. So
Hey, maybe trick up your like, kind of trick your enemy a little bit. Get a couple Doran's blades in there as well. Get like some Doran's rings, some Doran's blades. That'd just be really, really bad. But you know what? That'd be hilarious. And laughter is the greatest strength at the end of the day.
I actually have a quick announcement. Actually, might be getting into the game, but a quick announcement here we have from our admins. During the 1v1, we'll talk about that when we get into the game. So let's go ahead and get into the grand finals of the Solo King. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The last game of the Solo King tournament has come down to this. It's OQ versus Ganked by Mom in a rematch of the closest 1v1 battle we have ever seen. Game 3, it's Graves versus the Urgod OQ to decide who is the Solo King.
Oh me, oh my, oh baby, oh Q. Let's see if he takes this win on the Urgot.
Can you imagine if like his favorite champion had a really good like W move and that changed the course of his name forever and he became OW?
OW.
Maybe OR for if you know there's a really good ultimate. Brief announcements. The previous third and fourth place match was between ssumday and Ambition. So it was KT versus CJ, and ssumday actually just said on his stream that the bet was $200 worth of chicken that ssumday now has to buy for CJ Entis. So apparently, apparently Ambition, you know, is gonna get $200 worth of chicken for that 1v1.
All right, that's worth it. Nah, I got that's right off of that. It's like, all right, I got some chicken on my. That's so solid. I love that.
All right, well, there you go. You're not just winning your pride, you're winning your 1v1s, you're winning chicken as a bonus. So what more could you possibly ask for?
You really can't ask for a chicken is gold.
That is true, especially if it's, I don't know if you have the Golden Chick restaurants where you are. So many pounds on my body have come from that place. But let's go ahead and get into the game. It's Urgot versus Graves. Now we have flask starts from both sides. First buckshot of the game will hit onto OQ, and it'll be really interesting to see how they play this matchup differently, because they've already got the practice out of the way.
And they really don't want it. Like, I feel like every game that we've seen. Oh my god, this is.
Whoa,
not really
what is OQ doing? He was looking for the angle on the Acid Hunter to even up that trade, but yeah, that did not work out for him.
That's kind of weird. Oh no.
Wait, no, whoa, he is way too far forward. Burns the flash defensively.
All right, not the best start for OQ. Already on the back feet on the last game of this tournament. Oof.
Yeah, you have to say on the back feet with Urgot, because he has two of them. Instead of just being on the back foot.
On the back feet.
I thought about that. I was like, wait a second. And I was like, oh, 4 legs, yeah. But very low mana, too, and I think that's going to be the real limiting factor here, because he's able to play safe and just last hit with Acid Hunters under turret, but he won't be able to do that if he runs out of mana, so...
It's really not looking good. That's a massive wave at his tower, too. I don't have much faith that he'll be able to get that with no Doran's blades either, so...
He's doing actually an okay job at CSing. He missed, 3 CS, I believe, there. Yeah, he is behind about that much, so... Getting hit by these buckshots one after another, not going to be the way to come back in this game. And yeah, like you said, very difficult to CS.
Not only is it difficult, but he's actually being forced to use his mana pool on just simply farming up. And that's just going to make it so it's just a snowballing effect. He can't trade because he's
actually,
too busy.
there was a recent passive, I believe, added to Acid Hunter, so that if he kills a minion, it refunds half the mana cost to it. And it's only a 40 mana ability at all ranks, so it only costs 20 mana to use if you kill a minion with it.
Oh my god, I did not remember that. That is so useful.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's,
alright.
It's really cool. It's a nice last standing mechanic because mana is a very limiting resource for Urgot, specifically in matchups like this where you can't go back to base and buy a tier of the goddess and come back to lane.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Gankbomb is using his dashes really intelligently here. He kind of needs to, because if he gets hit by that corrosive charge, haha.
Well played, Raz.
I'm getting it.
Alright, so
No.
now it's the dodge game. Oh, you can't dodge the corrosive charge when it's on you. Disengage to hit that cannon minion, so not the greatest corrosive charge, but will be a disengage or a trip back to base for Gank by Mom. He's out of potions, so he will head back there, and this will give OQ some time to catch up in CS in the lane. Probably doesn't want to push it, but he is doing that a little bit.
And see, because OQ was forced to back earlier, he was only able to get that one Doran's plate. But now that Gank by Mom was, he got a few extra gold on his plate, so got that Doran's blade advantage here.
Yeah, that is actually huge. Like, you just can't win a 1v1 if the guy has, double your damage items. Maybe a little bit more sustain for OQ. And I think that overall, just if you're completely immobile and just using your abilities at each other, OQ will have the damage advantage. But we're about to hit level 6, and that's where Graves gets that big collateral damage power spike.
Yeah, he's getting real close to it. I would say next wave is key. That's when he gets that level 6.
Terra
He's getting pushed
Capacitor.
into his tower.
Yeah.
So like he can ulti, right?
Urgot's been trading mana for HP here, using that Terra Capacitor defensively instead of offensively for the slows. But he has actually done a good job evening up the CS score, which is redundant because the S in CS stands for score. But you get the idea. He's come back in it. And he's actually doing a good job killing minions under turret too, so... At least
Pretty oh,
Jeff, right as I say that.
damn.
OQ,
The curse.
you gotta let me down.
Okay, he gets
got
to
the rest
level
of them.
6.
And he's still up a CS in the head-to-head, so if he wants to go for that CS game, is probably not what we're going to see. But either way, oh man, GBM just playing in this creep wave so well.
He won't be able to dodge the next corrosive charge once it does come out. So actually, it's not gonna be all right. He's not gonna be looking for it.
At this
fair.
rate, OQ might actually just play for the second teleport. Keep in mind, he had to blow his flash very, very early, so he might be waiting for that cooldown to come up as well. Keep in mind, it's Ignite, the summoner spell from GBM, because he has that quick draw for his like pseudo flash. That, oh, by the way, also gives him a huge attack speed steroid.
So Gangbang Mom's controlling this game, and it feels like it's gonna be a lot longer of a game, a Jin Air game. To say.
Well, I mean, as far as Jin Air goes, they have, like you said, very long game times. Oh, there's an immediate ultimate. Throw it on to GBM. He's got that Noxian and corrosive charge on there. Urgot's taking less damage. He's dealing more of it out there, but with an Ignite coming down, not willing to fight under those effects.
Yeah, and he just ran out of mana. He realized at some point that, hey, I'm Urgot. I used 4 abilities. I'm done. I can't do anything. So he will have TP up soon.
Yeah,
this loss in trade was not that big of a deal for him.
Hits the cannon minion too, so that's 50 CS. Essentially, you have to look at cannon minions as a potion. If you get the cannon, you get an extra potion. If you don't, then you miss it. And when every single little point of health matters, and oh, here's one problem that could occur. Even though we're not towards 100 CS, we might, 2 turret shots for GBM. Why didn't you save your ultimate, OQ?
Oh my god.
Whoa, he's going for the kill there! Underneath turret! GBM actually will get it! Oh my god! Was that a minion auto attack? What on earth got that kill? We're gonna get a replay.
You get a replay.
Okay. Okay, here we go. We're gonna see this all in. Urgot walks a little bit too far forward. Flash it. Oh my god, look at that minion auto attack! The minion auto attack! You're kidding me! GBM, ganked by Mom, is your solo king. Of course, an honorable mention too. Oh, by the way, the minions. How close do these guys have to win games? Oh my god.
Alright, the last game was a beautiful one. That's how you end it. That's how you end a series in the tournament, David.
What a better way to end the solo king. Ganked by Mom, the guy that took down Faker 2-0. winds up in the closest battle of his life in the grand finals, and after the narrowest victory in game number 2 and almost simultaneous death for both OQ and GBM, he pulls out the win, takes it to a blind pick game number 3, where they go for a rematch of the previous game. And it is just as close a victory in game number 3. The last minion auto attack. How much damage do ranged creeps do at that point in the game?
Not a lot, but just enough.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we should have a winner's interview with GBM lined up here as well, and we'll have some translation provided for that, but I have no words for the end of that other than instead of GBM, it's GGBM. That was one of the best games of the tournament.
That was some BM too, so that works well. That was GG and quite a bit of BM for that one minion.
Of course, now instead of OQ, it's OQQ. But let's go ahead and get into our interview with Ganked by Mom.
네, 자 갱맘 선수.
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 자 우승.
All right, so the
네.
translator said, "Hello, Ganked by Mom. Congratulations on the win."
잠시만요.
네.
갱맘
잠시만요.
선수 그 채팅 그만 치시고요.
네.
마이크 좀 잘 들려요?
네.
마이크 좀 올린다는 거 같아요.
잘 들려요 이제?
The interviewer asked the question, "Please give us, tell us how you feel
네, 잘 들려요?
about being the solo
네.
king."
조금 작은 것 같긴 한데.
네.
네, 일단 기분이 너무 좋습니다.
아, 기분이 너무 좋군요.
네, 정말 좋아요. 지금 막 뛰어다녔어요. 여기서 막
아,
구슬 막
그렇습니다.
구르고 막 기도하고 막.
네, 이게
네.
본인이
네.
네, 그 우승을 할 줄 알았었나요? 경기 참여하기 전에?
당연히 몰랐죠. 솔직히 저는
Okay, we might have lost GBM there. The question was, how do you feel about winning? GBM said he feels really good right now. That he was running around. But another question is, did you know you would win? And GBM actually said no, he didn't think he would be able to beat OQ.
Ooh, nice. Respecting his enemy there.
Yeah, just a little bit. So let's see. Next question for our solo king.
마이크가 잘 안 되나 봐요 이게.
아, 지금 잘 들립니다.
잘 돼요, 잘 돼요.
들려요.
네, 이제 잘 되는 것 같아요.
아, 그렇습니다. 바로 옆방에서 얘기하는 것 같아요.
네,
자, 갱맘 선수.
네.
네, 일단
Question is, can you hear us, or should we just chat? They're trying to work out some of the technical difficulties, but apparently they can hear each other.
네, 900만 원 탔는데 성공했습니다. 어디에 쓸 건가요?
네. 일단 팀원들하고 감독님과 약속한 게 있어서 이제 889만 원을 받았는데 그 중에 이제 감독님이 89만 원을 회식비로 쓰자고 네, 하고요.
네.
그리고 그렇게 팀원들과 이제 회식을 하고 그리고 이제 아까 시청자분들하고 약속했던 게 있는데 그 10만 원을 추첨해서 한 명한테 드리려고요.
오. 말 그대로 10만 원.
All right, now the grand prize for the solo king was about $9,000. So at least I believe that's the translation. So the question the host asked is, you won about $9,000. What are you going to use it for? Ganked by Mom says, well, I promised to buy some things.
네, 그렇습니다.
I feel like it's chicken.
Well, yeah, he did say he was going to use $900 to take his team out to eat. So
There we go.
gotta get some chicken in on that.
You just have to.
And he promised that he'd give away about $100 to the people in chat who are watching. I don't believe it's. It actually is the Azubu chat. So it might have been for either his personal stream or for the Korean stream. Not sure where you had to be to get a piece of GBM's money, but he did say he was going to be giving away a bunch of money to people in chat. So he probably means his stream chat. So another
Yeah, it looks like
incentive
it.
to watch GBM on Azubu.
There we go.
So now they're going to be asking him about, I believe, his champion choices.
할만할 것 같기도 한데요, 형 해가지고 했는데 힘들더라고요.
네, 굉장히 힘들었죠.
역시나
그래서
칼리스타는
망했어요.
배제를 했던.
그렇습니다.
숨도 못
칼리스타
쉬었죠.
나올 줄 진짜 몰랐어요.
네, 그렇습니다. 자, 마지막 그 블라인드 픽에서는 우르곳을 선택하려다가 마지막 그 찰나의 순간에 그레이브즈로 바꾸는
네.
그런 작전을 보여줬는데 네, 어떤 의미가 있었었나요?
일단 옥규 선수가 경기하는 걸 다 봤는데 그 무조건 우르곳을 할 것 같더라고요.
네.
그리고 제가 AP 챔프 같은 거 할 때 우르곳 상대로 왠지 상대할 것 같아서. 그래서
Alright,
그거
question was, why did you choose Callista?
근데 좀 뽀록으로 이기긴
And
했는데
GBM says he was going to choose Mordekaiser again, but he saw Callista and decided to go with her instead.
그 승기를 잡을 수
There we
있을
go.
것 같아서 그대로 좀 생각대로 그부를 하면 이길 것 같아서 했어요.
그렇습니다. 네. 자 마지막으로 갱맘 선수에게 개인적인 질문을 하나 드려보고 싶은데. 갱맘
네.
선수.
He says that he had been practicing Mordekaiser a lot, but he saw Callista and thought that she would be a better pick. But he did say it was pretty hard, so at least give him some respect back there.
그거 질문이에요?
모두 물어보려다가 네 그냥 말비했습니다.
네.
자 아무튼 이렇게 해서 오늘 네 LOL 코리아 솔로킹 토너먼트 네 우승자 갱맘 선수 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
네
축하드립니다.
예.
그렇습니다. 네, 자 인터뷰는 여기서 마무리를 짓도록 하고 사실 제가 물어보고 싶었던 게 인생에서 가장 중요한 게
Alright, we have time for
물어보려고
one
하다가
last
네,
question, or at least the translation for one last question. We'll get that for you here in just a second. But question was, we saw you in the chat during the tournament. But okay, there was no question. So at least they were just saying, we saw you here. Final question was, do you have any, thank you for being a part of the Solo King. Congratulations on winning. And GBM just said thank you. He was happy to be here. So that's going to do it for the Solo King. In case you guys missed any of the matches, of course, you'll be able to find the VODs here on Azubu TV/Azubu in the VOD section. Of course, you can also find them, I believe some of them will be on Azubu's YouTube channel. So the Azubu YouTube, which is kind of weird to say. But I do want to thank my co-caster Raz for joining me. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride.
Anytime. It was a pleasure casting with you, buddy.
Absolutely, and even a bigger pleasure for Ganked by Mom, who at the end of the day, through some of the closest matches we've ever seen, is your Solo King. So congratulations to him. Honorable mention to OQ, who picks up 2nd place, Ssumday picks up 3rd, and Ambition comes out the biggest winner of all, with $200 worth of chicken coming his way from Ssumday. So at least everybody gets a little bit of the action. I do want to appreciate every single one of you for coming out and tuning in here on Azubu TV. Do want to make sure to give one last shout out to our charity. It's Extra Life right down below the stream. So if you guys can donate, feel free to support Extra Life. It's a charity that helps support children's hospitals across the nation. So if you can donate, we'd appreciate that. Drop a follow on this channel. If you're looking forward to more Solo King coming out from Azubu, you can tweet at them on Twitter at Azubu TV. Let them know you loved watching the Solo King. Use the hashtag #TheSoloKing. We'd love to hear what you had to say about tonight's broadcast. But on behalf of myself, Raz, and all of the Azubu staff that has worked so incredibly hard to make this broadcast a success, I do want to thank all of them as well. Of course, all of you. It's been an amazing tournament. If you guys want any of the previous matches, you can find them all on lol.esportspedia. They have a great section on the Solo King to find matchups, you can find results, you can find scoreboards, all the data, all the info. It's over there as well. So they do a great job. Do want to give them a shout out. If you're looking for replays of any of the games this tournament, it's a good place to go. So I think that is actually going to do it. Do you have any final words before we close things out, Raz?
Urgot didn't win this time, but next, it's coming for competitive play. I feel it.
Next time. If you see some Urgots in your solo queue, you can blame Ganked by Mom. And of course, maybe the next time you see him play in LCK, might be seeing some Urgot picks from OQ.
Yep.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll be watching a lot more Najin games, that's for sure. Alright, well that is going to do it for our English language coverage of the Solo King. Like I said, do want to thank Raz for joining me, thank Azubu for the opportunity, of course thank everybody else for watching. Once again, congratulations to OQ for being the Solo King. I think that is going to do it for tonight's broadcast. So thank you very, very much for watching the stream today. I had a blast, and I hope you guys did too. So once again, make sure to follow the stream here on Azubu. Make sure to check out GBM's stream, because apparently he is giving away about $100 to people in chat of his new Solo King winnings. And I think that is going to finally do it for us. Looks like the Korean commentators have a little bit more to say. But there is 3 of them and only 2 of us, so I feel like that's an unfair advantage.
They do. So it's a handicap over there. Handicap match between the 2 of us versus them.
It's true. We're outmatched, but we are we're not going down without a fight.
And we've got soul. That's all that matters.
I've got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I'm not a rapper either, so just putting that on the record.
Ooh.
Okay, well, I think that is going to do it for us, so probably just going to go ahead and sign off. Once again, thanking everybody for watching. Every time I came out here and saw like the great chat experience, thank you guys for being so wonderful. It's been amazing to see every single one of these games, and of course, if you missed it, make sure to go back and check out the VODs. That is going to do it for us, so on behalf of myself, Raz, everybody at Azubu, our wonderful translator Nathan, and everybody out there, thank you so much for watching The Solo King. Have a good night.
미니언 뒤에서 서가지고 저런 식으로 스킬 던지는 거 한 방 더 맞으면 가죠 이거.
네,
죽었죠.
순식간에.
약간 좀 제일 이렇게 부유하고 안정감이 있지 않나 싶은데 또 스킬 피했고요.
마무리 딜이
나오나요?
나오나요?
자, 체력 2칸.
아, 잡아먹고.
자,
오!
소리 짓는.
미니언이 너무 많았고 이걸 놓치지 않...
아직까지 양 선수의 그